The podcast on Haunted Hill will contain spoilers and swearing.
I am the devil, and I am here to do the devil's work.
Please help us, Michael. Be one of us.
I didn't tell you my name.
Hang up.
I didn't tell them my name.
They're all a part of it. They're all parts of it.
Come. It is time to keep your appointment.
Hello and welcome to the podcast on Haunted Hill, episode 188. Don't be late. My name is Gav.
You're quite great, and my name is Dan.
Dan the man. Merry Christmas, everybody. Merry Christmas indeed. I'm going to come down your chimney. I'm coming down Dan's chimney. I'm going to come down Sarah's chimney. I'm coming down all of y'all's chimney.
He's going to unload his sack.
And I'm going to place it everywhere.
He's going to fill your stockings up.
Every Christmas, 7 years now.
He's going to have white stuff all in his mouth, and it's not going to be eggnog.
We've done these bad jokes.
We have. Jingle, jingle, jangle.
It's going to keep going, guys. Every Christmas. It's like a Christmas tradition.
Did you say 7 years?
Yes.
Yeah, it's no.
Oh, sorry. Is it 8?
No.
Oh, God, no. I'm thinking of me and Sarah. Me and Sarah have 7 years. Do apologise. We're a little bit more than that, aren't we?
Yes, this is our 12-year anniversary of recording.
That's a bit weird.
Yes, so very special episode. Obviously, our Christmas episodes and our Halloween episodes and our birthday episodes, all our episodes are special, just like us. But our Christmas episodes are always a special one because we first ever recorded 12 years ago at Christmas. We covered Rare Exports and Jack Frost, not the Michael Keaton one, for those of you that know that film. And yeah, we didn't know what people would think, and 12 years later we're still recording. I worked out, I put a post up the other day, I worked out it's been almost 400 film reviews. Obviously 188 this is, but we have done over 200 episodes if you count all the bonus material and little extras and 0.5s we've done and music mixes. So it's over 200 episodes really. 400 film reviews, thousands and thousands and thousands of downloads and streams, and I can't even begin to tell you how many hours worth of research and film watching and planning and me working on silly little spreadsheets about our schedule and you editing stuff and this, that and the other, you know. So it's pretty special. Thank you, Gav, for doing this with me for 12 years.
Thank you, Daniel-san.
We've lasted longer than a lot of marriages and a lot of relationships.
You lasted longer in my marriage.
Straight in there.
Boom! In the
sorry,
kisser.
she doesn't listen. She never did anyway. It's Christmas, I'm a Grinch. Thank you to everybody that supported us, whether you recently found us and you're listening now, only recently, or whether you've stuck with us right from the very start. And let me tell you, that first year worth of episodes were probably technically not great. We didn't really find our feet until probably the second or third year of podcasting, really. But now it is like a finely tuned, well-oiled, lubricated machine that just runs. Oh, it's a well-oiled. That's what Alice calls me.
A well-oiled donkey.
That's a lubed-up donkey, she calls me.
I don't want to know why.
Well, it's a long story.
That's a bedroom talk.
It's Christmas. It's
Christmas time.
Anniversary.
Has
There's
everybody
no
got fed up
afraid.
of the supermarket songs about Christmas?
I heard the worst Christmas song I've ever heard the other day, and I think it's a new one. It's by Kylie Minogue. And I don't mind a bit of Kylie.
No, I just said this to Sarah the other day. I said, Can't Get You Out of My Head's a really good song. From a producer and a DJ standpoint, it's actually really good to mix with. So it's actually quite good. And, I shouldn't be so lucky,
She's got a Christmas song which goes, X-M-A-S, it's Christmas time, X-M-A-S. And I just think, no, that's shit.
Yeah, So there we go.
But yeah, Merry Christmas, Gav.
Merry
I've been
Christmas.
eating lots of mince pies over the last couple of weeks and lots of chocolates. Almost too much chocolate, really. Chocolate milk I've been drinking as well.
I have got here actually, which I picked up. I might have it later on while we record. I got this. Is that Dan? Little Mars bar hot chocolate.
Oh, sexy.
Yeah, so I might bang that out later.
Bang it out.
Anyway, listeners, I hope everyone's safe in the world. We won't just blah 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 as me and Dan like to do. We're like, let's start early, and we talked for an hour before we started recording.
We did. It's Christmas time, and
yes.
I'm feeling sexy and fresh. Part of the reason for that is I got an early Christmas present from my wife. A couple of early Christmas presents from my wife.
A couple of reasons are you showered and you're wearing crotchless panties.
Shh, don't tell the listener.
Fresh and sexy.
Yes, I'm currently using my brand new microphone as part of my new recording setup.
Yeah.
So I have a Yeti Blue mic, or Blue Yeti mic, and it's changed my world. My wife bought me that for Christmas, but she's given it to me early because she knew we were recording our Christmas special.
Yay, thanks, Alice.
So that's cool. And I've got my fancy headphones on, which I've always had sort of anyway. So I'm just feeling good. I also got a set of tools. So I feel like Tom Hanks in The Burbs, a nice set of new screwdrivers and tools from Alice, and some fancy aftershave.
You've got all Christmas presents already?
Yes, because we're going away for Christmas.
Oh, right,
and
okay.
It's going to save loading the car up, because the car will already be loaded up with what Santa's giving the children, of course.
Yeah, of course. So you don't get any thanks, Dad. It's like, oh, thanks for Christmas. He's amazing. Dad, you suck.
We actually are giving them some presents when we get back. We're keeping back the two big ones, which is a giant doll's house.
They get shitloads from grandparents anyway.
Yeah, and a giant garage for Jack. So those will be when they get back from Mummy and Daddy. It's a weird one. It's a weird one going away. I'm not sure how I feel about going away. I'm sure I'll have a good time. But so yeah, that's cool. And I've been watching lots of Christmas films.
I've watched a few things. I did Home Alone the other day, which was really just fun to watch again. Daisy's there. She came to me, you watching Home Alone? I was like, yeah. And I said, that guy, I said, I was just explaining Home Alone to her, because Daisy does quite like films. She's slowly getting around to it, and she actually now listens to me when I tell her stuff, and it goes in. She thinks about it, and I was like, well, that guy's Joe Pesci. And I said, the funny thing about this movie is, like, he's not. Yeah, he normally plays a gangster type. Sure, what do you mean? So I went on YouTube. The first thing I found is just Joe Pesci just shanking someone to death. And she's like, oh yeah, I see what you mean, because Daisy's sort of cool like that. What have you been up to, Dan?
Well, I haven't really been up to an awful lot, other than preparing for Christmas, working, as you know, Gav, when you've got children, it's literally you finish work and then it's straight into dad mode. So it's been difficult. But what has been great about the last month or so is I have got out of that habit of going to bed at 9 p.m. So I've actually got myself a bit of an evening again, most evenings. So I'm kind of double billing Christmas films every day. I watch something with the kids straight after school. Yeah. So we've done Home Alone 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. We've done all the sort of kids ones that you can do, really. They really like the Jim Carrey Grinch. That's probably one of their favourites. And Jack really likes A Nightmare Before Christmas, because it's got Jack Skellington in it. When you hear your own name in a film, you love it. But I've managed to watch a few adult films as well. I watched one of our
Playboy, Penthouse.
No, let me rephrase that. I've watched a few Christmas films that are more intended for adults.
Do you like the way when you said adult, I said it old school? I went Playboy and Penthouse because that's old school.
Razzle.
When you say, I'm watching an adult video, I completely knew what you meant.
Yeah, so I've watched, I rewatched Rare Exports the other day, which is just great. I rewatched Jack Frost, again, not the Michael Keaton one. It's a terrible film, and I don't know why, but I every few years I'm drawn to it. Okay. I rewatched Jingle All the Way on my own because I love that film. One of the best ones which I've watched every year since we saw it at the cinema 10 years ago with our buddy RJ is Better Watch Out, which is great. Oh, yeah. But the main one I wanted to talk about very quickly before we move on to stuff you've been watching and doing is Die Hard, because I watched it only last night actually, but it's been the talk of the town in our house with my kids. And the reason for that is my father-in-law bought me a Nakatomi Plaza advent calendar, which I know I've sent a picture of you to, with Hans Gruber starts off at the top, and every day you move him down to 24, 23, 22, all the way down till he gets to, the bottom. So every day they come downstairs and they're like, Daddy, the man's almost hit the ground. That means it's nearly Christmas. And Jack said to me the other day, I can't wait for that man to go splat on the ground so that it's Christmas time. And they've asked when they can watch this film about the man that falls out of a building. And I've sort of put I've penciled in roughly, maybe when you're 15, I'll sort of come back to this when you're about 10 to 12 and see how you're doing.
You'll be able to watch it with them when they're like 10. You don't need to worry about that. It's Die Hard, for God's sake. And
Jack's like, has it got bad words in it? I said, yeah, it's got very bad words in it, and there are people that get hurt in it.
Like, what you think and what's going to happen is a totally different thing, I tell you that. You'll be like, you've seen lots worse. Yeah, I've seen behead ends on YouTube. Not that my kids have seen behead ends, but they are so desensitized. Like, I show Elijah this stuff, so this is it's a bit graphic though, this, and one goes, it's not, and just walks off like, right, okay. Yeah.
So that's the talk of the town in our house for some reason. 2 4-year-olds who are really excited to get to watch Die Hard. Yeah.
I need to wrap my presents still, and I do like to watch Sint when I wrap my presents. Don't know why.
I'm going to be watching
I just like
that.
a bit of Dick Mass at Christmas.
Who doesn't? Dick Mass at Christmas. I will be watching that if I can squeeze that one in. I still haven't watched National Lampoons. That's one I watch every year as well.
I normally do it on Christmas Day. Christmas Eve, sorry. Normally watch it.
I told you what I watched. I decorated the tree with Deck the Halls on in the background. I don't know why, but that film is
Deck the
fun.
Halls. I like it. I tried to do every Christmas Day night, but I won't be with Sarah until Boxing Day, so I'll be watching Black Christmas Boxing Day night.
Yeah,
and,
I want to do that as well.
There's another Christmas one I watched. Can't remember.
I'm skipping Gremlins this year. I feel like I've seen a lot of it.
Gremlins on this Sunday. It's already planned.
Yeah, I probably might end up watching it. You never know. But I'm thinking of skipping it this year and doing it next year maybe, because I feel like there's some films I just do every year, and I'm like, I could skip it this year and watch something I'd never seen, which I have. I did watch one film, a Christmas film the other day that I'd never seen before. It's a queer Australian Christmas horror film.
Okay.
Called Carnage for Christmas.
Oh, I thought it was called a queer Australian horror film. I thought that was the title, because nowadays that is the sort of thing, which could be.
Yeah, it would be great. It'd be like not another teen movie.
Exactly.
Not another queer Australian horror film. No, it's called Carnage for Christmas, and it's about a transgender podcaster who comes back to her hometown, and there's a killer on the loose in a Santa outfit. It's only 1 hour and 9 minutes. Thank God. It wasn't very good, really. I could see what they were trying to do with it, and it's great to have a queer film out there, but it just wasn't that great, to be honest with you. It was a bit boring. It was only 1 hour and 9 minutes. That's the only new one I've watched this year. Everything else,
I see it at the cinemas, mate. I'm not going to watch it. I might do if it's streaming, maybe. A Silent Night, Deadly Night remake is in the cinemas at the moment. And do you know who it stars, though, as the main guy?
I don't know.
Which makes me not want to watch it. It's Corey from Halloween Ends.
Oh, God.
It makes me think of Halloween Ends. It makes me not want to watch it.
Well, I got the inside scoop on it because our buddy RJ, I spoke to him yesterday and he went to see it. And he said it's decent. He said it's a 90-minute slasher.
Yeah,
it's got a lot of good. And I said to him, I tried to get the information out of him. I said, is it a legacy sequel? Is it because from the trailer, it would appear that it might be a bit of a legacy sequel. It would appear it could even be like a soft reboot or I don't know, even a sequel, but he wouldn't tell me, which is great. He's a good friend for that. He didn't want to spoil it.
Speaking of cinema, we're just chatting this now. I almost with Sarah went to watch the Kill Bill, the whole bloody affair, which is both the Kill Bills in one put together. But then we both went, I don't know, that's like 5 hours of getting there, sitting there for like 4 hours watching the movie coming out, which is fine, but at the same time, that's a lot of time. Time is hard nowadays.
It's half a day.
I have seen And Kill Bill 2 I always find really boring. I find it like Stephen King's It, like the 80s TV show. The first one's good and the second one's a bit boring. I find that Kill Bill, you know, it basically jizzes its load all over the place with that massive fight sequence with all the people.
And then it slows down.
And then it goes really slow for the part 2, which is a Tarantino thing to do because, you know, he's all Hollywood and that. Not that cliche Hollywood. I mean, he's like very much into cinema, so something like that would be something. I'm sure he's doing it for a certain reason, but it's just a bit like...
There's an additional animated sequence, isn't there?
Apparently.
Which I've seen.
Right.
And yeah, okay, great, but I don't have the time to go and do 5 hours in the cinema.
So yeah, but I did make the time for the cinema, even though it was my daughter's birthday. And she said, "No, go on, you go." And I was like, "All right, cool." I actually tried to get her to come along, my kids, but it didn't work. They didn't come. I watched the 45th anniversary of The Shining in the cinema. Sarah's seen The Shining in the cinema before, and I hadn't. I don't think I've watched it on my projector either, but it's really good watching it. It was funny, like I go in there and it's like, I wonder what sort of people in it. So I'm by myself, like, because I'm a horror fan, I'm a cinephile, I like film, you know, so I'm going to go by myself happily to the cinema to watch it. And there's a couple of people by themselves and a couple of couples, not many, because I was wondering what sort of audience is coming for this. And one guy came in, it's on my aisle as well. Excuse me. And I was just like, I looked at him and was like, I never judge a book by its cover. I don't do it in any sort of way whatsoever. But I was like, is this what people sort of think possibly like people go to watch Stephen King movies by themselves are? And he had like a fringe which is like gelled, and he's had a comb, he's combed it down, and it's cut just above his eyebrows. And I was just like, I don't want to judge a book, but you just look like you possibly have gone and just killed a few people and they're locked up in your shed and you literally just popped down to watch Shining. I'm just saying, you know. But it's really good to put Shining on the screen in great clarity, because I've got that point now. I've watched movies many times. I look at shots or scenes and I start looking at the detail around, and I look at other things and I take it all in. And I enjoyed it a lot. It's a good film. It didn't do anything new for me, for sure, because I've had that a long time ago, because you said recently you've discovered Shining and it was like, oh my god, it's a good movie. I've always sort of known it, so it never did anything new to me. It was just nice to watch the performances again, and just watch the acting and just a story be unfolding.
I can imagine,
you know.
I can imagine, and for anybody who didn't hear the last episode, by the way, I didn't just discover The Shining. What Gav means is I've seen it multiple times, but it was only on my last watch I realised what a masterpiece it is for some reason. And it was because I had the sound up, and it was just... So I was just about to say, I should imagine it lends itself very well to a cinema because of the sound, because of the scope of it. The scope of it. Every room just feels gigantic, and that's just when you're watching it on your big TV at home. But in the cinema, it must have felt like that hotel was going to eat you up.
It's funny. One other guy came in just as, because I went early and I sat down. I was like, cool, got me a cup of coffee, and I was nursed to coffee. I finished my coffee, and the second time Jack Nicholson has a coffee in a movie, I just finished my coffee. It was quite funny. Random thing that. Just as it's just about to start though, a guy just walks in, sits down, and goes, "Be quiet, please." No one was making noise though, and two guys down in front of me were having popcorn. They looked at each other going, "Is that us? I don't know. Is that us?" And then this other guy behind me rustled a bit. I was like, "Fucking don't! He's gonna pull out an axe and start fucking chopping you up in a minute. I just want to watch the movie, everybody." So, come on, let's all be good. And everyone was good.
Danger.
Everyone was good. But he sat down and said, "Be quiet, please." Okay.
Very dangerous. Interesting.
Yeah, it was just like, he wasn't saying it because anyone was making noise. He was saying it because he just wanted everyone to, look, this is Stanley Kubrick, be fucking quiet, alright? Alright, we're all here for the same thing. But yeah, it's really good. The opening though is the with the camera, the helicopter flying over the car going up the hills. Yeah. That's as soon as you get that, you're like, well, here we go. It's good. And it was cold outside, so it worked well.
Nice. Yeah. So you enjoyed that? That's good.
I did.
Yeah, a lot of the local cinemas around here and all around actually the UK are doing a lot of re-releases of, not that The Shining is a Christmas film, but you could watch it this time of year for £2. So if anybody has got a View cinema near them, you can go and watch Home Alone 2, Die Hard, a lot of Christmas films. They're just re-showing them for £2.
Oh, wow. I love
Yeah,
Die Hard. Oh, I'm off to see Sarah on Boxing Day. Maybe I'll persuade her to go watch Die Hard.
If you've got a View Cinema, check it out. Honestly, it's like £2.
That's
it's
the other
insane.
Christmas movie I watched. Die Hard. For God's sake.
Of course.
I'm going to be a school teacher now for everybody. There's this charity shop.
Here we go.
There's a charity shop down the road from me. And I sent you a picture of all those Colombian Noir Blu-ray box sets I was picking up. 20 quid a pop, these box sets. And I was like, I don't know these movies, so I'm going to watch this. Columbia, the record label, film label, movie label, not the country. And it's a film, a lot of these box sets are noir films, a lot of sort of black and white, certain very bright lights, contrasting shots and things. I there's different rules to it to be a noir or not. And I picked up those, but then I went by the other day, Dan. Oh my God. For years, I have read about crimmies. Now, everybody listening, do you know what a crimmy is? Dan, what's a crimmy?
Is it slang for a criminal?
Yeah, it is. It's in the 50s and 60s, Germany made their own films, taking inspiration from American thrillers. They made their own films called crimmies.
Yeah. So it's kind of like an earlier... It's like Germany's answer to Giallo, but earlier.
Yes,
it's their own niche genre.
That's its
own style. I probably have seen some, but I couldn't name any. But I am aware of
absolutely
crimmies,
right. So, like, as everyone knows, this is where I'm going to become a teacher. Friday the 13th is very much inspired by Bay of Blood, which is Mario Bava. Mario Bava is pretty much seen as the granddaddy of giallo films, and Dario Argento would be the daddy. I'm the daddy of giallo films. But then going past that, they were inspired by these German crimi films. They're not black and white, but these are incredible. So guess what we're going to be doing, Dan? We're going to be doing a crimi episode because we need to educate people. Which thing is, though, I picked up this box set which has got some great movies on it. Thing is, though, I looked up, like, on streaming that, you just can't get it. And there's nowhere these films are playing. So even if you try and probably legally download, I think you'd struggle. So it's problematic that we would review them, but I think people struggle to get them unless they would buy this particular box set, which is a Master of Cinema series called The Terror in the Fog, the Wallace Crimi collection. And two of the standout films, I haven't watched them all yet, but they're fantastic, was The Strangler of Blackmore Castle, which is just fantastic. And
great title as well.
And The Mad Executioners. That was a really good film as well, where they're basically, though, they're all in English. They made them so they pretending that they're set in England. Sometimes they did go to England and film some stuff like at Tower Bridge, and then they filmed the rest of it in Germany, but they have people speaking in English like they're dubbed afterwards. They were selling it as an English type movie, but they're Germany, and they're made just after the Second World War, which is, I found, as we started sort of going in that way, which I found quite interesting, really, doing that. Fascinating box sets. I definitely recommend these films. Like I said, I've only seen a couple of them, but they're just, I can't really explain them, but just really beautiful visionary. Some of the best, like, Mario Bava type giallo films, like really good imagery and stuff like that. You can look at these and go, oh,
but you've
not
got
saying he got it from that, but he probably watched these.
The Germans, the Germans have that style. You've got to look at Metropolis and the German expressionism, the Cabinet of Dr. Caligari.
You got to think people have grown up watching that. The filmmakers watch those films and like that expressionist art expression in Germany in black and white. Then have gone on to take inspiration from American thrillers like Hitchcock, stuff like that, and gone and made their own films, which are these classed as crimies. Was the original Nosferatu German, if I'm correct? Am I getting that wrong?
They were making those type of films. There's another great one called The Golem, Der Golem, a German film.
Yeah, that's right.
Which is great as well. Yeah, so I'd be interested to see
1960s. Sorry, 1960s.
60s, is it? Yeah. So around the sort of Hammer time, really.
They're like if Mario Bava came to England and made a Hammer movie in black and white.
Sexy.
Really stylish Hammer movie almost. Excellent. I can't honestly, big these films up enough. Really, really good movies. But I just want to talk about them. Also, very quickly, very quickly, before we get onto the full episode, I didn't bump into him. He was at a convention, but I went over and talked to him. It was Craig Charles.
You did.
Only reason I'm bringing this up now is because we, just after Halloween, we released our Ghost Watch episode, which obviously Craig Charles is the presenter who's out on the streets outside being a cheeky chap. And I ended up chatting to him very quickly, and didn't talk to him too much about it because it's the trouble with these conventions. They have people paying to talk to them. And I always just kind of hustle my way in. And I did say to him, can I get a selfie from a podcast page, from a podcast listeners? And he's like, he looked at the guy next to him and went, I'd love to, but I've just been told off about it. And then he put his hand out for me to shake, which I thought was very gentlemanly of him. So give Craig Charles a shout out anyway.
Nice one, Craig. Thanks, mate.
Yeah.
Very quickly, we've had some terrible news in the film world. A beloved director, Rob Reiner, has been murdered.
Yeah.
Now, when I first heard this story of him and his wife Michelle both found dead, I thought, well, this is like the Gene Hackman thing all over again, you know?
Yeah, because you said to me a bit sort of weird. It's not as weird, really. His son, isn't it?
Well, yeah. Well, it got weird when they announced it was his son, and then they said that his son stabbed them both and slit both their throats. And then you've got to throw the bit I meant when I said to you this is getting weird is the whole Trump stuff that's linked to it now, because Rob Reiner really spoke out against Trump. Yeah,
Trump, I don't know what, he said something, didn't he, apparently?
Yeah, he dissed him, like the day after he died, completely dissed him. Now everybody's defending Rob Reiner. He's obviously no longer with us anymore. But Rob Reiner, for anyone who doesn't know, had an incredible run of films. It was still making films. He did some acting as well, but he made Spinal Tap in 1984. He did another movie in 85.
Cleveland!
Then he did another movie in 85. Then in 86, he did Stand By Me, a Stephen King adaptation.
Wow.
Then the following year, he did The Princess Bride, which, as everyone knows, is my favourite movie of all time. Then the following year, he did When Harry Met Sally, which is a beloved rom-com, very
quite
iconic.
Versatile, because he obviously did Misery as well, so he's very versatile.
Then the following year he did Misery, and then 2 years after that he did A Few Good Men.
Sarah and I only watched that, not last summer, thought it was on Prime, and it's a Sunday afternoon, and I was like, should we watch this? Yeah, go on then. And watched it, and it's like, wow, what a good film.
Yeah, so he did a whole bunch of movies after this, obviously, but he had that run from 84 through to 92.
You can't handle the truth.
Yeah, you want the truth. So good. But, Stand By Me and Misery. We actually did a Rob Reiner episode for my birthday a long time ago where we covered those two Stephen King movies.
I don't remember that.
That were both directed by Rob Reiner. So rest in peace, Rob Reiner. Not quite sure what's going on with his son. I know he's currently in court and it looks like he's probably going to be convicted of murder. And they're saying that he's got paranoid schizophrenia. But yeah, I just wanted to quickly mention that. Also, talking of Hollywood, my favourite director of all time, Mr. Steven Spielberg, dropped a trailer for it was unnamed for quite a long time, and then they've announced the title of his movie coming out next year, which is about an alien invasion.
Yeah.
And it's called Disclosure Day.
I wasn't very blown away by the trailer, to be fair.
Well, what's interesting about it is it doesn't give anything away, which is nice.
Yeah.
Which is very rare for a trailer.
I almost didn't want to
days.
Watch it, because I'd rather just go to cinema and watch it at Spielberg,
What we can see from the trailer is that the government are forced to give full disclosure on alien life forms, UFOs, UAPs, because, and we know that it's kind of coming along anyway, really. We are getting, the government are admitting that there are things out there that they cannot explain. They're not saying they're aliens, but they are saying there are unidentified aerial objects, and there's things in the sea. And then we've got this like 3i Atlas and all the other stuff. So it is interesting. The other thing that's funny about it is that obviously he did E.T. and he did Close Encounters of the Third Kind. And that really opened people's eyes up to the idea of aliens and alien visits, that kind of thing.
He did Space Jaws as well. The unofficial sequel.
I'd love to have seen that.
He's in Shark.
Was Danny Trejo in
Shark?
that?
He's in space. Yeah, Danny Trejo's riding him.
Amazing. But with this Disclosure Day coming out, there's a big sort of movement that's sort of saying, well, because he's one of the elite in Hollywood, the government are basically saying to him, get this movie out there, and that will actually prepare people for some news that we've got coming in the next couple of years.
Oh, okay.
So I don't know. But either way, it's a Spielberg movie about alien invasions. It's called Disclosure Day. It's not a very good title.
It's a shit title.
I saw a film called Disclosure a long time ago with Demi Moore about a blowjob, and it wasn't anything to do with aliens invasions. There was some probing going on, but it wasn't alien invasions.
Fair enough.
And there's one more thing for us to talk about before
I've got one more movie.
Oh, great. Oh, I should probably say, you already know, but we're covering Trading Places, listeners. I didn't say. Merry Christmas. We're covering Trading Places, because that's a Christmas movie.
It is.
And it's quite dark, I've realised. And we're also covering...
The subject matters are interesting. We can actually have proper conversations, which is interesting.
And we're covering it with a movie that Gav recommended to me a couple of years back, starring our friend Mel Gibson. Basically playing a version of Riggs in some way, but he's actually Santa, and that is FATMAN from 2020. And if you take Christmas Carol, Santa Claus the movie, and John Wick and mix them into one movie, that's what you get. So we'll be covering this. But my last thing to talk about before Gav's last thing is Stranger Things. Now, in our last episode, me and Gav were working our way through, I think you just finished your rewatch of all 4 seasons of Stranger Things, and I was nowhere near watching it. But I did finish it the night after season 5 dropped, or the first 4 episodes dropped. So I caught up. That was great. And then I watched the first 4 episodes of season 5. So spoiler free, of course, because we've still got another 3 or 4 episodes to come out on Boxing Day and New Year's Day.
Apart from Dustin comes across as almost like a fucking heroin addict.
Well, he's grieving. He's grieving his buddy.
I know, but it's just the way he is and the way he looks as well. It's like he looks like someone that wants a fix.
Highlights of it are the final 20 minutes or so of the last episode of Volume 1, which has got a brilliant Warner in it. But also, I can't spoil it or talk about it, but there is something that will blow everyone's mind, unless you already knew that's where it was going.
I'm going to have to watch these new ones again before it drops again. Oh, I won't have time, but I might try.
And then you've got Linda Hamilton in it as a mysterious doctor who's got a lab set up in the Upside Down, and the stakes just seem a bit higher, and the acting is much better than when they were children. The budget is insane.
I like it when they were kids, though.
Yeah, it was cute. It was cute when they were kids playing Dungeons and Dragons and stuff. But yeah, season 5 has been brilliant. I really hope they can stick the landing for the last few episodes, and this will be a show that some of the seasons were weaker than others. Season 1 and 2 were fantastic. I think I really liked 3 because of the setting in the shopping mall. 4, or was it 4 that was in the shopping mall? I can't remember. The shopping mall one was good. I think it might have been 4 that wasn't as good. It went on quite a long time. But then you had that Kate Bush song in it. So watchable. So good.
Yeah, it was good.
Stranger Things. What's your last thing?
Well, speaking of cute actors, Klaus Kinski. I watched Werner Herzog's Fitzcarraldo. Have you ever seen this film?
Never heard of it.
Because we're covering it from probably my next birthday episode. You've never heard of this film? It's up there with Sorcerer. No. It's based on...
I can't go through the tension of something like that again. I've never seen Sorcerer before. I was so tense. I thought I was going to have a heart attack halfway through that film. It was...
It's cinema. This is why I love Sarah. I said to her, "This is why I love you. You love cinema." She's like, "Yeah, I'll watch it." So we subscribe to BFI because you can only get it on their British Film Institute player. Fitzcarraldo's basically, it's not as high tension as Sorcerer, but it's basically loosed on a guy who wanted to build an opera house in the jungle.
Oh, bang.
So it's kind of based on that. Now, Klaus Kinski, who's just insane and was such a hard actor to work with so many people, just fucking, he pretty much had punch-ups with everybody all the time on all of his films. He's a fucking lunatic.
I've heard he's unhinged. I didn't realise
his character decides to hire a steamboat, rent it out, a massive boat, and do it all up, and go basically down the jungle river, but he doesn't go the normal way. Everyone's like, where's he going? He goes the wrong way, because his reason is we're going to get to a certain point of the river where there's only a little bit of land between us, but it is a mountain. It's like a big mountain top, like a big hill, but we're going to get the steamboat and pull it up over the hill and go drop it down the other side to go back in the river.
It does sound a bit like Sorcerer then in that way.
Yeah, and it's just like, that's the main thing. So they get all these natives to do it. Now, as a movie, watch it, you're like, that's insane, someone's doing that. You got to step out of the movie and go, Werner Herzog was actually getting natives who didn't speak English to put a steamboat over a mountain in real life. There's no effects. So Werner Herzog is pretty much the crazy guy trying to do it, but he's getting his actor to pretend that he wants to do that for a movie. It's just like, this is insane. At one point, one of the native guys, because they wanted to kill Klaus Kinski, they said to Werner Herzog, if you like, we can kill him, if you want, like, deadly serious. And it's just insane. Like, one of the crew had to chop his leg off because he got bit by a snake, or his arms just went straight away, just lopped it off with a chainsaw or something like that. And it's just like an insane movie, and it's worth a watch.
What's the name of it again?
Fitzcarraldo from 1982. It's in English, 2 hours 40 minutes. It gets 7.9 out of 10. The story of Brian Sweeney Fitzgerald, an extremely determined man who intends to build an opera house in the middle of the jungle. It's fucking bonkers.
Crazy. That sounds crazy. One last thing, actually, I have just to mention. Somebody else passed away since our last episode, and that's Udo Kier.
Oh yeah, another German actor.
Another German actor. That's why you reminded me.
That's what I was watching, the German criminals. I was like, I've been watching a lot of German stuff recently.
Yeah, well, wunderbar. For anyone who doesn't know, Udo Kier is a phenomenal German character actor. Showed up in hundreds of movies. Suspiria. Everyone knows him from that. He was in a lot of giallo movies.
Yeah, such a good look. His eyes, colour and stuff.
Yeah, Blade.
I remember when he was in
Blade.
I remember he was in Blade.
He was great in Blade. He even popped up in Ace Ventura, Barbed Wire. He transcended, going from just foreign language films over to Hollywood. And yeah, it's a shame, but he had a fantastic career and a great life from the sound of it. So just wanted to mention Udo Kier as well. He's a great guy, very sinister looking. If you ever needed a sinister German guy. He's been replaced now with Christoph Waltz. I feel like although I think he's Austrian, isn't he?
I think Klaus Kinski was before him then.
So there we go. So,
should we get onto a trader for Trading Places?
Yeah, let's pull a cracker, and inside it we're going to have
pull your cracker. Let's pull each other's crackers.
It's going to be a drunken Dan Aykroyd stuffing meat down his trousers, and Eddie Murphy pretending he's got no legs,
smoking a joint in the toilets.
I love that moment. But then it gets dark real quick.
It's really interesting. So we actually have I didn't expect it, an interesting conversation, because it's like about the way people treated. Yeah. All right, let's get onto this.
I had the most absurd nightmare. I was poor and no one liked me.
I know what you're thinking. You see Porgy and Bess? We can make it, baby. Me and you.
Dan Aykroyd and Eddie Murphy are trading places.
Help! Help! Hey, I don't want your bag, man. Help! 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 Help!
I'll bet that man could run our company as well as your young Winthorpe.
Are we talking about a wager, Randolph?
Is there a problem, officers?
Oh, Winthorpe. I'm glad your parents are not alive to see this.
Wait, now this is totally preposterous. I'm not a thief.
Here we are. William,
take off your clothes.
You are making a career decision here.
Take off your clothes.
Did you hear what this man said to me? Now, I have witnesses. This man is physically threatening me.
Hey, Randy, Monty, this is nice. I like this.
We are commodities brokers, William. Commodities are agricultural products, like wheat, which is used to make bread, pork bellies, which is used to make bacon, which you might find in a bacon and lettuce and tomato sandwich.
I'm considering going long on April wheat. What do you think, Valentine?
Freeze, slimeball!
Moi?
Put that gun away at once, Winthorpe. You lost your mind?
Dan Aykroyd, Eddie Murphy. They're not just getting rich, they're getting even.
Do you have any better ideas?
Yeah, it occurs to me that the best way you hurt rich people is by turning them into poor people.
Dan Aykroyd, Eddie Murphy. Ralph Bellamy.
I gotta get Wilson and tell him to sell!
Don Amici.
Randolph, this isn't Monopoly money we're playing with.
Denham Elliott.
What a scumbag.
And Jamie Lee Curtis.
By the way, food and rent, not the only things around here that cost money. You sleep on the couch.
Trading Places. Some very funny business.
South on in April of 142!
Trading Places from 1983, rated 15, an hour and 56 minutes. A snobbish Wall Street commodities broker and a wily street hustler find their positions reversed as part of a bet by two callous millionaire brothers who run a brokerage house. That's a really wordy, not very poetically written synopsis for that. But 7.5 out of 10. Directed by John Landis, America Wealth in London. I've met John Landis, actually.
Yeah, just after he murdered two children and an actor, he made this film. Twilight Zone.
Oh, did he make this afterwards?
Yeah.
Because I know he tried to call Eddie Murphy to give him a statement of him, a personal statement, but I don't think Eddie Murphy would get involved.
He did. He said, all I know is if the camera's rolling and you've got two children getting their heads cut off by a helicopter and it's after midnight, then you've got to take some responsibility for that if you're the director. That's what Eddie Murphy said.
Well, yeah.
And I think he's got a fair point.
Yeah, I agree.
But he probably said it in a much wittier way. Now, a lot to unpack with this one. Before we get into this, then, Gab, I will say this is another kind of a shining moment for me because I've always just seen Trading Places as a silly comedy movie, not even a buddy comedy movie because it's not. And yeah, it's fun. This time around, I'm a bit older now, getting on for 50s. As are you.
Wiser, and you see the whole world as it is.
Yeah, I'm a dad as well now. And this time around, I realise this is really good. It's a fantastic mix of almost a Christmas Carol. It's a Wonderful Life, and a few other little bits thrown in there. But then you've got what I am now happy to say is I think this might be Eddie Murphy's finest acting performance because his character arc is he really, really acts in this. Like more so than he does in any of his other films. He's Eddie Murphy in a lot of his films. In this, he starts off as this one person, then he quickly moves up to being a different person. Then he realizes he's a pawn in this game, and then he changes again into a mixture of those two. He was 21 when he made this. 21 years old. No wonder his career
to have
took
that range.
off.
I was a punk at 21. I was a punk most of my 20s. I was quite in my own little fucking world. Do you know what I mean? I wouldn't have the know-how to understand the people he's portraying. Do you know what I'm saying?
He's a determined young
understand man. It. He's got such range. He's a very skilled person. It was watching this documentary and made me think, oh, I'm like Eddie Murphy, because I always used to think, like, why can't I just do something? Why aren't I a filmmaker? Why haven't I gone to Hollywood and actually go, fuck, I'm fucking doing it? And I realised, do I want to just be a film director? Not really. I like being a podcaster. I like writing music. I like doing things. And then it comes down to, I just like making stuff. So I haven't honed it in. And Eddie Murphy's documentary said the same thing. I just like to do, like, making stuff, and just acting it just really took off. But because he was a stand-up comedian, actor, he did a bit of singing. He done lots of things, so it's just like, I just like doing stuff sort of thing. It's like, yeah, man. So he's a very talented person. I recommend the documentary.
And then, and I think I mentioned on the last episode, I watched it along with the John Candy one in the same evening because I needed cheering up after the John Candy one.
I've got to do the John Candy one, actually.
And then you've got Dan Aykroyd, who was 31, still relatively young. He was riding high. His career was still, he had a really good sort of 25 years of his career, and he probably still, we love him, Dan Aykroyd. So you had SNL's two generations. You had the older generation with Dan Aykroyd at 31, and then the newer generation with Eddie Murphy combining to make this dream team comedy duo, who aren't really a comedy duo, but then when they do get their plan in motion together in the last act, it is so funny. Throw in the incredibly gorgeous Jamie Lee Curtis, and I'm not just saying that because she gets her boobs out twice. That is a highlight, don't get me wrong. She looks great, but she does, but she is really funny in this as well. I'm Elga from Sweden.
Down to the point of how funny it is. Denham Elliott,
the butler,
Coleman, the butler. How funny he is. His dry British sense of humour comes across. Now you got to remember though, this is John Landis directing this, so he's pointing them in the direction to go. As much as obviously they're talented, they bring their thing to it. He's just fine tuning.
Yeah,
bringing that dry English. He knew English humour. He knows that, and he's just bringing that dry English humour to it for his character. He understands him to be, and just how everyone should be. And I think it's you could almost go film gods almost. It's a lot of things together almost, but I don't think they're there. But
I don't think it's there, but I do think it's.
You know what I'm saying though? We're up there.
It's a much better film than I've ever given it credit for. It's definitely a good 8.5 out of 10. And I know we haven't started reviewing it yet, but
I thoroughly enjoyed watching it again. I could probably go and watch it again this weekend happily. Now, would you think it'd be just as good if Richard Pryor hadn't been cracked out on fire and still been in the cast?
I don't think it would have, because I think this was a young, dynamic, hungry Eddie Murphy that wanted to prove himself.
Unfortunately, I feel like Rich Pryor. Sorry to say it, you're not here anymore anyway. But I do feel bad saying it. But I think, his accident that happened that he caused himself. I don't know if it's a meant to be thing, because Eddie Murphy shines, like you say.
Yeah, definitely, and I think it needed to be a younger man. And Richard Pryor was older. He was a similar age to perhaps Dan Aykroyd in this. So
I think it would come across differently, wouldn't it?
We must give credit to Dan Aykroyd as well. He is a great comedy. His timing is great. Ghostbusters, whatever he's in, Great Outdoors. He's been in some fantastic comedy roles.
This would have been almost a bit fucking full on for Richard Pryor, really. Do you know what I mean? It's a little bit like the way
I don't think he could have handled the acting.
It's a bit more street tough, if that makes sense. A little bit more, I don't know, something with it, which isn't his films with Gene Wilder, obviously.
And you've got to think, Dan Aykroyd was writing in his head. He was writing Ghostbusters. He'd probably written Ghostbusters by now. It came out the following year, So yeah, it's I see what you mean. It is close to being a film god to film this, and we've laid our cards on the table, listeners, already. We love this film. I didn't expect to come into this, but there is a lot to talk about this, because it's got some really dark moral messages about the way people are treated, and I wondered if this film would have aged well. And there's only one scene towards the end that doesn't age well, but the rest of it,
the film
around the racism side of stuff, it hits you. It's a gut punch when Eddie hears them use the N-word when they don't think he's around. That's a real
N person.
gut punch.
Wouldn't let an N person run this company. Yeah.
Oh my God, it's a gut punch, man.
And the film sets its tone out straight away from the get-go. You have a montage which is
juxtaposition.
Had this last time. God's sake.
Juxtapositioned.
Yeah. You have the montage at the beginning of shots of people on welfare, and then shots of the privileged. Shot of welfare, shot of privilege. It's from the opening of the film. That is telling you what this film is straight away.
Yeah, and what's again, it's quite ahead of its. Who did write this? Again, it's quite ahead of its time, because
Timothy Harris and Herschel Weinrod. I'm going to look them up. You carry on.
At this time in the early 80s, it was cool to be a yuppie and cool to be elite and rich and be on the stock exchange, Wall Street, that kind of movie. So this movie really actually shines a spotlight on that and how some of those people are pieces of shit and will do anything. And for example, the two brothers, and it's not a spoiler because you guys would have seen this and you know that we always go spoilers anyway, but it's $1. The whole bet is for $1. They're just their playthings, because they're just so rich and they're untouchable.
But that's why
and
it's so nice
far removed.
When they pull it back at the end and they say,
it's so good.
$1? $1.
So good.
The writer, one of the writers, Timothy Harris, he did Trading Places a couple of years after this. He did Brewster's Millions. He also wrote Twins and Kindergarten Cop and Space Jam.
Oh, nice.
That's one of the writers, and I'll just quickly check the other writer.
The other thing that I will say before we get into it is everyone looks like they're really enjoying themselves in this film.
Yeah, it's most of
it's a nice
everyone,
atmosphere.
Yeah, I don't think snow was the only white substance going around at the time. Okay, this guy also worked with him, and they worked together. Trading Places, Brewster's Millions, Stepmother's Alien, then Twins, Kindergarten Cop, Space Jam, etc. So yeah, they're not many things, but they work together. Oh, they did the Teen Titans movie. How bizarre!
Great movie.
But that's so bizarre.
They obviously work well together as a comedy writing duo.
How funny!
So like you said,
do you know Teen Titans?
Yeah, I love Teen Titans. Absolutely love it.
Did you like the scratching at the beginning in the intro of music? I literally have here by accident.
It's so funny.
That's weird, isn't it?
It's funny, Teen Titans, because it's
made by people of our age who are into
it's
stuff
like
that
Ren
we
and
liked.
Stimpy.
Yeah, but like,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's really
and
funny.
It's so fast.
When they do like I don't want to do a fucking talk about Teen Titans here, but it's a kids program, by the way. When they do like homages to like 80s movies, and they go, "Whoa, back in the 80s, this is what it was like," and it's so good.
I love the episode where they've got like synth playing and they're all riding like unicorns and they're riding through the desert and then it's like, what is going on? This is so good. It's almost like a bit what's the Rick and Morty at times. It's great. It's a great show for anyone who hasn't seen it. And the movie's good.
Right.
Anyway,
onto this movie
Places.
Then. So we started off with this.
So just to paint the picture, Gav, we're in Philadelphia in the early 80s. Yuppieism was a thing. But like you said, we got the juxtaposition of people keeping themselves warm on
streets, while inside people are
streets.
on cognacs and smoking cigars, just talking about playing what's in the trade and the stocks. Yeah, we've very much got a Wall Street type scenario going on. A lot of money with the stock exchange, and then obviously on the streets, as Dan just said.
But it also adds into this that it's Christmas because all the businesses are getting ready, whether they're the stock exchange, whether it's your local bakery, they're all getting their Christmas decorations up and putting their signs up saying it's a Christmas sale and things like that. So we know what time of year it is as well. We also see a butler, Coleman, who is prepping breakfast for someone. He's getting a croissant ready and some coffee. And he goes up into Lewis's room, who is Dan Aykroyd, who is sleeping. He even wakes him up. Good morning, and he sort of rubs his eyes. He might as well wipe his arse for him.
It's funny because he doesn't at any point come across as an antagonist. He just becomes across as a very stuck up, got everything for him, doesn't have to do anything, especially the way he treats Eddie Murphy when he first bumps into him in the street. But he doesn't come across as the antagonist because he is, in fact, him and Eddie Murphy are actually our protagonists. We just don't know that as yet. But yeah, this guy Dan Aykroyd as a butler, he has some money, he has some clout. He's bought the newspaper and the Financial Times, wherever it is, and he just okay, thank you, yes. And his butler's English, the cliche. Yeah. He
helps him get dressed for work.
We do see these two older gentlemen called the Dukes.
The Duke brothers, Not the Dukes of Hazzard, by the way.
No,
because that's another Duke pair of brothers, but that's completely different.
Elderly grain gentlemen, very born straight, type of people who've possibly married once upon a time, but now they are married to their finances and they just want more money, because
money, more problems.
They don't really care about anybody or anything. they would rather just make money than die of a heart attack. And whatever happens to money, it doesn't matter because they're dead. But for while they're alive, a lot of people are, and greed in the world. It's just make money, which is I've always found that a very strange thing. But then again, I've never had a lot of money, so I don't know what happens when you have a lot of money. I imagine it's a fucking hassle.
Yeah, and they have a very similar morning because Coleman prepares everything for them as well. Actually, is Coleman their butler? I can't remember. No, they've got their own butlers.
Basically, they pay Coleman to look in this house, which probably costs a shitload as it is, to pay Coleman to look after Dan Aykroyd. They're like, he's like their
golden boy.
For whatever reason, I don't know, but I presume he's just very good at making them money. So they're like, right, we treat him well. They're like he's like a financial sex worker, so to speak, for the older gentleman.
Well, they're in the car and they get a message from him to say sell pork belly stocks. And they're like, well, that can't be right. Can it be right? Let's do it. And they end up making hundreds of thousands of dollars straight away.
This is 83 and they've got a car phone, so there's a bit of money going on. They're being driven. And then Dan Aykroyd's on the other end of the phone saying, I think you should do this or do that. And then one of them's like, I don't think this is right. I think he's going to, this isn't going to happen. And the other one's like, no, let's give it a go. Let's try it out. And that's how their dynamic is through the rest of the movie, these two older gentlemen. One of them's very much let's give it a go and see what happens. The other's like, I don't know about that. They're kind of like the guys, I wouldn't be surprised if it's kind of almost based off on the Muppets.
I was about to say exactly the same thing. They're like the Muppet characters, aren't they?
Very much. And Dan Aykroyd, as Dan was saying, just comes up with something and says, you should do this. And he goes, let's just try it out. And he goes, see, Mortimer? He just won us so much money, blah, blah, blah. So they're like, the other one's like, Which is, it's setting up for their bet.
Yeah. So they get out of their car and they head into their big gentleman's club, and they're harassed briefly by Eddie Murphy.
I love his little pull-along cart. I was like to Sarah, right now, Sarah, what is that? She's like, cart. And I was like, pull-along. So I was like, pull-along cart.
He's basically pretending to be a blind man, a blind Vietnam vet with no legs. So he's got his legs tucked under him on this little cart with like a big skateboard, basically. And he's got the big giant boxing glove things on so his hands can pull himself along, and he's got sunglasses on. Well, the problem is when he's doing his blind act, he can't help but do the Stevie Wonder head move. Do you know what I mean? So it's pretty funny.
Yeah. But I love the fact he's on put on car and the cops are basically later on I love it when it's a little bit later, not that much, when the cops pick him up and legs just go and appear.
Yeah. I know, it's funny. It's so funny because you wouldn't know who this character is initially watching this film.
We're essentially going with this cheeky chappie who's on the streets and he's trying to peddle for some money, but he's doing about with it in. You got to say though, this is where he comes into Mortimer and that. They're quite lucky pulling this, because they could have pulled any character off the streets to try and do this. And I don't think their experiment would have totally worked. But straight away here, we see Eddie Murphy's being a bit more creative in the way he's trying to peddle for money.
Yeah. Yeah,
he's thinking outside the box rather than just doing that. He's like doing that. So like he has some shit going on there, which is actually really interesting writing when you come to think about it.
So he leaves them alone. They go into the club, into this big gentleman's meeting club. That it's almost like a cult. It's like the skulls, that kind of thing.
It's that sort. You've seen it a few times before in movies.
Yeah. They go in there and they discuss trading and it's all very boring, and they're reading their newspapers. And I see the crops that sales are
because I watched this in high def. On the back of the newspaper is an advert for Apple computers, and I'm shouting at the screen, going, "Take stock in that right now!" Like, what are you doing?
And we see Lewis. He brings them the wages checks to sign, like the monthly wages, and they're like, we do pay our employees a lot of money. And then he says, talking of which, there is a check here for someone, and it's for $10,000. And he's like, don't worry about that, Lewis, I'll take care of that, leave that with me. So we've already got a little seed planted of like there's someone within the company, they're paying a lot of money to do something for them, and we will find out who that is later on. Then it emerges that the bit of information that he is he's dating a lady called Penelope, who is the grand niece of the Duke brothers. So not only is he their golden boy, their number one man when it comes to trading and makes them lots of money, he's also marrying into the family.
I'm presuming he was their work colleague or whoever first before and then met her. That's how I presume that went. Yeah.
Well, all the other men there are like, "Well, you're having dinner with Penelope. That's wonderful." And he's like, "Yes." And he says, "When are you going to make an honest man of our grand niece?" And he says, "Oh, well, the invitations will be in the post next week, actually." So he's marrying her. He plans to, and like you said, Gav, he's not really a nasty person. He's just in that world.
He's kind of oblivious to everything. He just happens to be quite good at, but it's almost like he's grown up with a silver spoon. That's what it seems like.
Yeah, he doesn't know the outside world, which is, when he meets Eddie later on, it's not even a racist thing. It's just like, "Oh, what's going on? Someone's touching me, and it's not my butler. This is strange."
It feels almost like Prince Andrew, or no, the prince formerly known as Andrew, or no, the Andrew formerly known as Prince, formerly known, or whatever you want to call it.
I don't think I've ever seen Dan Aykroyd play this type of character before.
It's interesting, yeah.
He's normally a bit of a more down-to-earth guy, isn't he? So it's interesting to see.
Yeah.
We do then cut back to Eddie harassing more people. He calls one woman a bitch because she won't give him any money. And this is when the cops harass him. And he tells them he was in Nam. They pick him up. And he says, I can walk. I can see. I've got legs. This is great. Thanks, man. I love you guys. And they actually don't arrest him. They kind of, at that point, they kind of let him run off, and then another police car pulls out, so he runs back towards the club that Dan Aykroyd and the Duke brothers are in, and he bumps into Dan Aykroyd, knocks his briefcase out of his hand, and he's like, "I'm being mugged."
And Eddie Murphy actually picks his briefcase up and gives it back to him to hand it back to him, but he's like, "Oh my god, I'm being mugged, look, he has my briefcase." And Eddie Murphy, for whatever reason, doesn't drop it. He grabs it and runs into the building, which should be like, just give it to him and just stand away and say, "No, I'm giving it to him, I don't want it." But he goes running off, which makes him look very guilty.
And then we get this fun moment where, if you could imagine these probably quite racist 24 white guys inside this very well-to-do trading club, and you've got this black guy dressed in like rags because he's been pretending to be a bum.
Except for all my life, every time I watch this movie, I'm like, Eddie Murphy wears some cool like baggy combat trousers, and he's got either Pumas or Adidas on. I think it's Adidas shell toes.
I thought they were Pumas.
Oh, they might be. And the thing is, though, I was just like, every time I see him, he looks super cool.
Yeah, but Eddie Murphy does always look quite cool, though. He's never looked cooler than when he was Axel Foley. Like, that look is just the look. Yeah. So he runs into this, like we said, into this club. He ends up, it's quite comical. He gets under the table, and obviously he's cool because he's under the table. So he gets arrested. Yeah. And the Dukes are very interested in him straight away. They're like, "Oh, I'm very interested. What is this man? He's probably grown up."
Yeah.
He said, "Well, he's an N-word." And by the way, there are two N-words. One of them is lesser offensive, but it's still offensive.
But what they do is they slowly talk themselves round into going, well, we could actually... What, you're saying that we couldn't take this gentleman to come off the streets who could run our company? No, we couldn't do that. No way I couldn't. You don't think that? Well, I bet you a wager that we could. Like, you're on. Same price as normal? Absolutely. We don't know the price yet.
So the wager basically is, let's take Dan Aykroyd, who is the best we've got, and he's marrying our grandniece, and let's ruin him and put him in
their own fun and pleasure, isn't it? It's such an evil, horrible thing to destroy someone's life just for some fun and pleasure.
It's a very Epstein sort of, just ruining someone's life just for your own selfish gain, fun. So their aim specifically is to make Eddie Murphy rich, successful, respected, clean cut, and make Dan Aykroyd a gun-wielding, drunken, druggie who will resort to crime. And that, if they can do that, then we don't know what the wager is, but it's $1. It's discovered later, and that's just how horrible they are, just for $1, because money's nothing to them. So then we cut to Lewis, Dan Aykroyd, having dinner with Penelope. and it's very sort of like,
it's so sterile
like,
romance.
Do you know that a black fellow tried to mug me today? She's like, oh, Lewis. And he's like, yes. Well, he's lucky because I would have beaten him to within an inch of his life. They arrested him. And she's like, oh, Lewis, I'm getting hot for you.
At the table, yeah, I'm getting quite into you. Like, and behind them, the butler's making crepes. And like that. And he goes, he looks and he knows what she means. He goes, we won't need to put in. We're going to go now to the other room. And he's standing going, oh, my mate. But he goes, you can have them. And the next thing is a shot of the butler just tipping them in the bin.
And they go into the living room, and it's so clinical. And they just funny. As they're talking about like training and who they're inviting to their wedding, they're slowly taking their clothes off. There's no like love or passion, you know. And then she gets down to her underwear, and he's in his underwear. And then Coleman opens the door and he's like, will you be needing me anymore this evening, sir, or can I retire? And he's like, no, we won't need you anymore. I think I've got everything handled myself in here.
They could have been getting it on. I don't understand. Like, why did Coleman come in? Why doesn't he knock as well? I don't understand why he just opened. And I thought he was going to get annoyed with him. So I was like, what are you doing? But he didn't.
He wanted a cheeky look at what was going on in there.
Can we play What the Butler Saw? While this is happening, we're juxtaing over to the other side, and we got Eddie Murphy. He's banged up in the fucking cell, isn't he?
Yes, and a brilliant Bruce Lee impression emerges. I didn't know. I've never seen. I didn't realise how well his Bruce Lee impression is. So he's in jail, and there's these two huge fellas on one side.
Did you see one they carried? I'm looking at him right now.
Giancarlo Esposito.
Yeah, from Breaking Bad.
Yeah, he's really young and got really bad acne. He's so young in it.
Acne and afro. Yep.
Yeah, but yeah, he's got Giancarlo Esposito and and a couple of other fellows who are like worshipping him because he's talking the talk. He's been really quick-witted.
He's been Eddie Murphy.
And he's like, man, you should have seen it. They were like, how many cops? And he's like, 10 cops. But luckily, Bruce Lee was my teacher, man. And I'm a karate guy, okay? And he's like doing all these Bruce Lee moves. And then these two other fellas who are huge are like, they're doubting him. And they come up to him and they're like, you saying you take on 10 cops? And he's like, yeah. And he goes, and you got a limo? And he's like, yeah, I got a limo. I got bitches coming to pick me up in a minute. And then they grab him and they pin him up against the wall. And they're just about to beat him up. And he's like, I'm a karate guy. Don't push me, man. Don't push me. And then all of a sudden, a cop comes over. And he's like, Billy Ray Valentine. What a great name, by the way, for a character, Billy Ray Valentine. Looking good, Billy Ray. What a great line. And he's like, yeah, that's me. And he's like, oh, someone's bailed you out. And he's like, I told you. And he gets out just in time. He goes outside. Yeah, he goes outside and... There's the Duke brothers, and they're like, get in this car, and he's like, nah, no thanks.
Interesting. We see this again later on. Someone coming out on these steps, being bailed.
Yeah.
And it's the switcheroo at that point.
Yeah. There's probably a lot of those sort of mirrored.
I bet there is
scenes,
Yeah.
So he doesn't want to get in the car, but they say, look, we're the guys that bailed you out. So he gets in the limo with them.
He does think that they're possibly proposing sexual antics on him, which it does look like. It does look like something some weird couple of eccentric, rich, older white people might do. I got to say,
yeah, because they're sort of saying to him, "We want to help you, Billy Ray. Well, they keep calling him William actually, and he's like, the name's Billy Ray, and they're like, okay, William, we want to help you. We want to provide you with a house, a car, a job with a salary of $80,000 a year.
Yeah. And he's just taking cigars off them and a bottle of booze. Like, yeah, okay, all right, yeah. He doesn't believe them at all. He's just like going, okay, I'll go whatever you say because I've got a bottle of booze and some cigars. I'm gonna get out and run in a minute,
He taps the limo driver and he's like, man, what is this for real? And he's like, yeah, they're for real. And then they're like, my name is Randolph, and my name is Mortimer. And he goes, okay, Randy and Morte. He calls them Randy and Morte.
Okay, Randy and Morte. Yeah.
So he's like, well, why me? And they're like, look, we want to do something for you. So they take him to his new house, which is obviously Dan Aykroyd's house. Dan Aykroyd being out at the moment, and he meets his butler, and he says, "So you're going to be my personal slave?" And he's like, "Yes, sir. I'll be at your beck and call whenever you need me."
So, what? Because Dan Aykroyd's character, where is he now at this moment in time?
He's out at work or something, isn't he? He must be out with.
But that means they've already planned that whatever they could do to him, they could do it straight away. Because they can't have him going back to the house. They've only got a few hours till he'd be going back there, as Eddie Murphy stepped in his shoes.
Well, he meets his butler, he goes off and he has a lovely jacuzzi bath.
When he gets in the thing, he says jacuzzi, sir. He goes, I know you guys are a couple of... It says the F word, but it's saying, pulling some sexual antics on him. He says, no, it's the bubbles in the bath, sir. Turns it on and goes, oh, okay.
He says, when we were kids and we wanted bubbles, we had to fart in the bath.
We had fart in the bathtub.
And he has his bath. There's a really awful moment where the Duke brothers are outside. They're like, what's he doing now? And he's singing in the bath. And he goes, they are a musical people, aren't they? It's like, wow. But that's their character, man. That's because I thought initially, this film hasn't aged well, but it's because they are racist pieces of shit as well.
You've got to think the year, though, where they're already old in 82, 83, whatever this is. So, like 70s. When they were brought up as children, that would have been normal.
Yeah.
Unfortunately. I know that it's not their real life. Them in real life, that's how they'd be. But their character, so to speak, it would be,
Yeah. They show him around this house.
I was going to say, Dan's at the Heritage Club at the moment.
Oh, that's right. He's at the Heritage Club. So he's showing him around. He's stealing because he's in that same mindset. He's picking up things off the shelves, and they're like, "Why are you stealing?" And he's like,
"This is yours." Goes, yep. Okay, this is all mine. Yeah, as he goes around picking up because he's just like sarcastically going along, okay, thinking these guys are insane.
But he just cannot believe it. And Lewis is on his way, as you said. He's on his way to the club, and inside, someone slipped something in his pocket. So his life is about to completely unravel now.
Now, this club, this just random little club, it's just you saw a room which is just like it's like a clubhouse room, like a bar and stuff like that. And all of a sudden, this character, Mr. Biggs, turns up, and they're all got to go for a meeting in his room. This one room is fucking huge with a whole council and all these chairs and tables sitting around in a semicircle, facing these so many small chairs in front of them. It's like, this is a bit weird. It's very Freemasons-y type sort of thing or something.
It is. It's like that. It's also like the House as a Parliament, which is kind of the two are interchangeable, really.
It does feel the same. And they they explained about Mr. Beak's character, don't they?
Yeah, well, one of the chiefs of the club, the trading, the stock exchange, whatever it is that they do, he stands up and he says, "Gentlemen, I'm sorry to say there is a thief amongst us, and we're here to find out who that is." And they're all looking around like, "Gosh, we're all really rich guys. Who's stealing? What on earth is this about?" And everybody's really confused. And then Mr. Beaks, who is the guy, by the way, spoiler, who's being paid by the Duke brothers a lot of money every month to do dodgy things. He stands up, and he's the head of security, so to say, and he says, "So, guys, what I'd like you to do, I'm going to get you to check your pockets. Put your left hand on the person to the left of you's shoulder, and then put your hand in their pocket, blah, blah, blah." And everybody pulls out what's in their pockets. And then he says, "Earlier today, some marked $100 bills. We specially marked them. They were stolen."
And watching this on repeat, you see, just as Mr. Biggs walks into the room, he bumps into Dan Aykroyd's character and slips something in his pocket. You do see this, actually.
Yeah, and it's Lewis, and he's like, "What? This is ridiculous. I've never stolen anything in my life." And he's taken to the police station. And he's like, "You can't do this to me. Do you know who I am? I'll have your badge." And they're like, "Strip." And he's like, "What? Strip? How dare you? I'm not going to do that." And the next scene is him just in his underwear. So they made him. And they're going through his clothes. They're like, "This is an alligator skin wallet. We've got a Rolex watch. Oh, and we've got a big old bag of, this looks like PCP to me, otherwise known as angel dust." And he's like, "I've never seen that in my life." And immediately now, not only has he stolen money, he's now also got a huge bag of PCP in his pocket, which again was, all planted on him by these corrupt cops. And then he gets his mugshot taken. So it's going badly for him. Cutting back to Eddie, who is fucking loving this right now, because he steps into a bar like the Pimp Mac Daddy of the 80s, the king of the world, in his new clothes. He walks in and he's like, "Yo, let me buy everybody in the bar champagne, the best champagne you got." And everybody's like, "What?"
Yeah, I think they kind of think he's making it up or something, or he's just talking bullshit. But he gets a couple of guys, the ones that are in prison, happen to be in the cell, happen to be in the bar as well, and they come up to him and say, "Hey, man," and they're like, "Well, if you don't believe me, my car's outside." And he says, "Your car's outside?" So yeah, let's go look. And they go out there and they look up there, and Coleman just nods his cap to them.
I love Coleman. He just gives them a little "good afternoon," and they're just like, "Okay." And then Eddie's like, I tell you what we're going to do. We're going to have a house party. And he brings the whole bar back to which used to be Dan Aykroyd's house, back to his house for a giant 80s house party with cool music playing, probably a lot of cocaine, but we don't see it, but we do see a lot of drinking and people making out, girls getting their boobs out. And this is where we see the first change in him. Struck quite early, because he's suddenly he owns things. He owns a house and material possessions within that house. And he's walking around the party going, "Hey, yo, man, you're dropping stuff on that rug. That's a Persian rug, yeah? From Persia." And he's like, "That coffee table's worth more than your house. What are you doing? Come on. Who's putting cigarettes out on the floor?" And eventually he says, "Everybody get out." And he actually kicks everybody out, even though there's like loads of naked women running around, and it's a bit of a P. Diddy party. What I love is in the middle of all this sort of naked debauchery and drinking music, you've got poor Coleman walking around with a plate of hors d'oeuvres going, "Can I interest anybody in hors d'oeuvres?"
And the thing at top takes Eddie Murphy over the top is when he says to him, hey Coleman, there was more people here. It seems less people. And he says, "I believe, sir, they've adjourned up to the bedrooms."
That's right.
And because he has to be as a butler, you just don't think. You just do and act as told. So he doesn't think. He knows what's going on, but you don't think about it. So he just lets it pass. They've gone up to the bedroom. He goes, "What?" And he goes up there, and there basically is a lady in his bed, wants to get it on with him. And Eddie Murphy's like, "No," disgusted by this. "Get out and go downstairs." Like,
and his last parting words really of the evening to Coleman, "Oh man, these guys are all leeches. As soon as you get a bit of money," and he realises people just want you for your money.
That's the thing, though. I think, like I said before, that the Dukes have got struck lucky with Eddie's character, because so many other characters have just got wasted, and it wouldn't be a problem at all. Just before the bar thing, very quickly, just talking about Dan Aykroyd when he gets checked into the police station. And he's just completely a fish out of water. When they say to him, "Okay, strip," and he's like, "What?" He says, "Strip, you little shit." The guy says to him, and he's like, "What?" And he's all he's got black eye and stuff, and he has to strip, and he's just completely like, "Oh my god, I don't understand this," and it's hilarious. But it's quite funny. We've now literally flipped. Dan Aykroyd's now like being arrested, and Eddie Murphy's now living his life. And all of a sudden, Eddie Murphy has just realised that these people, like I said, he's got more common sense than a lot of people, I feel. All of a sudden, he's realised that people are taking advantage of him because he's got money. But it is interesting.
Yeah, and like I said, and the interesting thing about this scene is how quickly...
Very, very quickly. Did you see who the barman was?
I don't think I did, no.
I saw, when he spoke, because I'm very good with recognising the voice, do you know one of our favourite movies? I Still Know What You Did Last Summer.
Oh, who was it?
It's the guy who is... maybe the caretaker.
Oh, okay.
He's like, "Rio de Janeiro," he says to them, and they say, "Where'd you win the holiday?" And he goes, "Okay," and he knows it's wrong. It's him. He's in it.
Oh, wow.
I know.
Didn't know that.
That's a deep cut.
And I do love that Eddie has already started to pick up on the fact that people are leeches and people are... And he's changed. He's already changed ever so slightly with a little bit of money. It just goes to show you how a little bit of money can change you.
Yeah.
And yeah, like you say, Dan's in jail with the two black eyes. Penelope comes in. she bails him out and he starts crying. He's like, those men wanted to have sex with me.
Before we do that, just as the party finishes and that they leave his house, Eddie Murphy talks to Coleman, and Eddie Murphy is quite polite to Coleman. And at this point here, Coleman's not had this politeness from him from Dan Aykroyd's character. He's getting it from Eddie Murphy's character, who's generally being polite, saying, thanks, Coleman, I appreciate that, and stuff like that. And he walks off, and Coleman's there for a moment and goes, there's something different with this one, and he appreciates that, and he's just like, there's something going on here.
Because he says to him, don't worry about it, sir. I'll tidy up. You've had a really busy day.
Why don't you go upstairs and
get some rest? We'll try tomorrow, because tomorrow you've got to start your new job. And he's like, I really appreciate that, Coleman. Thanks.
Yeah, that's good. So Dan Aykroyd's bailed out from his girlfriend, and he's on the stairs. Basically, Beaks, is it Beaks that does this? Goes up to Jamie Lee Curtis. Yeah, it is.
Yeah,
Beaks goes up to Jamie Lee Curtis.
She's a sex worker.
She's in there. She's just basically got out from being arrested for being a sex worker, and he says, "Hey, do you want to make a fast 100?" And she's like, "What? I've just got out. You want me to get arrested again?" And says no, and whispers in his ear, "We don't know what." Dan Aykroyd gets bailed out with his girlfriend. They go on the steps, and all of a sudden, Jamie Lee Curtis comes up to him and says, "Hey, baby, I need a fix, baby," and just sort of starts doing all this stuff.
She's like, come on, I'll do anything. I'll do that thing you like. And she drops to her knees.
And she knows his name and all this stuff. And Lewis, oh, go on, please, Lewis. Who is this Lewis, the girlfriend says. And the girlfriend's like, oh, my God. So she just leaves him. So Dan Aykroyd's like, great, that's it. That's the last person that can help me out here. Fucking brilliant. She's like, oh, it's a joke, though. I thought you'd like it. Your friend told me it'd be funny. What friend? That guy turned around. Beaks has gone. So he's fucked. He's literally got no money. Everything like no. Oh no, we don't know that just yet.
He doesn't know that yet.
Not just yet.
He just thinks what a strange turn of events. So Jamie Lee Curtis walks off to get in a cab to go home,
and he begs her basically for help.
She's like, get off your knees.
Come over here.
I don't know.
To me.
She says, there's something about you again, like Coleman. She sees something in him that isn't just there's something in him that's a little bit more genuine.
Checks a manicure and soft hands. Oh, no, I've got soft hands, to be fair. But I definitely don't have manicured nails. But he does. Yeah, so she knows that he hasn't done a hard day's work in his life.
So she knows there's some truth to his story, perhaps.
Kind of. It's a bit far fetched to go that way. But
still. he says to her, if you drive me to my house in this cab,
I can give
my butler will pay you $200.
Yeah.
And pay for the cab. And she's like, okay, well, something about you makes me believe you, so let's do this. And there's a really sinister bit now where they knock on the door, and Coleman
just plays dumb.
He just goes, who are you? And he's like, Coleman, it's me, Lewis. And he's like, I don't think I've ever seen you before, sir. Goodbye.
Just to shut the door, he goes all serious and he just looks at him like, oh, I'm sorry, and just shuts the door.
Yeah, it's a brilliant bit of acting from Coleman, from Denham.
The whole film, it's directed and acted incredibly well.
Because he's a Paul. And that's why he's in the final scene.
He's in the game.
He's a Paul.
Yeah, no, it's a nice comeuppance at the end of his film. So he says, right, let's go to the bank, and he goes to the bank, and all of his cards are cut in half.
Well, he says, I'd like to take out $500, and he goes, actually, let's make it a nice $1,000, and he does the old school writing out like you used to when you used to have to take cash out.
Do you think the Andrew, formerly known as Prince, do you think he's out there doing that one day, went to the bank and like, oh, your credit cards have been cut? What? This is it, isn't it? This is about
you're no longer a duke. It could be. So he, they take his credit cards cut and they say, we've been told to seize these. All of your accounts are frozen. Apparently you're a PCP dealer. And he's like, no, apparently you're a heroin dealer. He's like, no, it was PCP, and it wasn't mine anyway. So he's like, keeps correcting everybody. And he's thrown out physically by the security guards at the back. They throw him onto the street, and he's at his lowest now. And he says to Ophelia, I've been framed, Ophelia being Jamie Lee Curtis. And this is where she feels his soft hands, and says, all right, I kind of believe you. Come on, let's go. So she takes him off in a cab. And as they drive off, Eddie sees Eddie Murphy's in his limo, and he says, that's my car. That's the man who tried to mug me. And then Eddie Murphy sees him and goes, hey, man, I recognize that guy. And they he's shouting out the window, that's my car. He's taken my car. And that's kind of the lovely little moment, like almost that mirror scene coming apart.
Eddie's taken to work and he gets there and he says, Coleman, hey man, what do they want me to actually do here? And he says, well, just be yourself, sir. No matter, they can't take that away from you.
They can't take that away from me. So they sit him down and he says, hey, thanks, man, but I've already had breakfast this morning, because they lay out all these different
commodities.
Yeah, and they're like, no, we're here to teach you about commodity trading.
It's basically they lay out in front of him. It looks like they've laid out a random breakfast for him, but it's actually everything that they actually trade in. It's about 6 or 7 items.
Yeah, and they explain it to him, and it's like a little learning moment for him.
Breaks a full fall at one point, and they say, and he says like a simple thing, and Eddie Murphy looks at the cameras like, do they think I'm stupid? And it's so interesting that he just breaks a full fall.
I know, it's really cool that he does that, and it works. He don't even really think about it. He just looks at us, at the audience, like, who the fuck are these two?
And that just makes you go, this is only a movie. It's not like, it doesn't take you out of the story. Do you know what I mean? It's really interesting.
Yeah. Dan Aykroyd is back at Ophelia's at this point.
He just moans and moans and moans until she says, look, shut the fuck up, yeah? Not everything in life is free. Everything, and when she's telling him stuff, he goes, what? You're a sex worker? And he's just like so shocked by this. And it's like, did you not figure this out? But then again, he's so naive, he probably didn't.
And she says to him, my grand plan is, she's got like $30,000 in the bank or something, and she's got like 5 more years of doing this job.
On her back, she says.
Yeah, and then she can retire for the rest of her life with a decent amount of money. She's got a grand plan.
That was 80s money. It was pretty good money for her in the 80s, what she'd saved up already, actually.
Yeah, she's doing all right. She must charge a lot. She must be good.
It's good. Those boobs have probably charged quite a lot.
But she says, here's what happened. She says, here's what's going to happen. If I help you, it's not going to be for free. You're going to need to find a way to pay rent.
She's pimping him out, as in not pimping out, but she's like putting a business proposal to him. She's thought this all through. She's also another clever. Most people in there are pretty clever, actually.
Yeah, and she says to him, I want 6 figures from you if I help you get your life back, and I want you to help me along the way. And while she's doing this, she completely takes off all her clothes, and this is the famous Jamie Lee Curtis boob shot that everybody knows, every teenage boy or girl who was interested in this, which most of us were, let's be honest, saw this, especially because, we know her from Halloween, so it's like, oh my goodness me. She said she wasn't proud of doing this.
She shows her commodities.
She does.
Her commodities.
Commodities. Love that. She said she wasn't proud of doing this, but she also said, I could have said no, and it was fine. So she got paid a decent wage to do it, but I'm not complaining. But
at no point did it ruin her career.
No. And did it ruin this film? No, not really.
Not really. If anything, we go, wow, look at them boobs.
Yeah. So that's that. Then she shuts the door on him and says, not everything around here is free. And that's exactly the bit you just said. So back to Eddie, who seems to be a natural at trading because he's got the gift of the gab and he's got a really good intuitive instinct.
He does a good job and it makes one of the Dukes happy. The other one's still a bit like...
And again, it's pork bellies, and he gives his whole reason as why
he
pork
understands,
bellies.
Though he understands what the actual people are actually buying on the streets.
Because it's
not
Christmas,
on the streets, but just generally what people are buying.
And it's like people aren't buying pork right now because it's Christmas. But if you do this and you do that, and eventually he ends up making them $300,000 in 30 seconds.
Because when they explain to him, do you understand what we do earlier on with the commodities? He says, yeah, you're a couple of brookies. He understands them as basically just a couple of bookies. Yeah. He understands the setup.
And one of them really genuinely likes him, which is why it's heartbreaking when that one of the brothers that seems to genuinely like him and believe in him, but when he calls him the N-word,
I think it
breaks your heart.
Yeah, I think so, yeah, because when it comes down to it, there's still just a couple of cunts.
Yeah. One of them, they do a good job of one of them being a bit more likeable, but they're still both absolute cunts, as you said, Gav.
Dan Aykroyd is now at a point of desperation, so he turns up at the Heritage Club.
This is one of the cringiest things I've ever seen. So you've got these...
With him trying to look his best out of what clothes he's been allowed to have out of the wardrobe from the guy that lived in Jamie Lee Curtis's flat before her.
Yeah, which probably was a pimp by the looks of the big fur coat he's wearing.
Or a really bad comedian.
Now... My note says for this next scene, squash club wankers, because they're in the squash club and
That's
you've got
like
these
bus
5
stop wankers
guys
from the in-betweeners.
you've got these guys here, one of whom is
them singing. Oh,
they're going,
God.
And if you know our friends,
they're all singing in unison, and
they're singing about the different girls that they know.
Candace, and it's a Candace, da da da, and it's like, oh,
Penelope is good at blowies.
They're trying to basically impress.
But the
these
girls are all
girls.
loving it.
They are because they're just as shit as them, so they're all shit clinging together.
And they're in this squash club, and this whole moment is ruined, like you say, because Dan Aykroyd turns up.
I think Dan,
looking like some kind of pimp.
I'd be there. Thanks for ruining that, man. Their singing was doing my nutting.
He walks in and he's like, oh, thank God you're all here. Listen, something terrible's happened. Can one of you please help me out with a loan? And they're like, my God, what's happened to you, Lewis? Look at what you're wearing. We heard you were selling heroin. And he's like, no, it was PCP. Why does everyone keep saying that? We heard you stole money. And he's like, no, please lend me some money. If someone could lend me some money, I'm innocent. And then and one of the guys is like, we're not your friends anymore, Lewis. Because he's suddenly got no money and he's got a bad reputation and loyalty is gone. And again, he's learning his lesson now.
Yeah.
So it's a hard no on the loan, which cuts to him then going into a shop to pawn his watch. And he pawns a watch, and the guy, he's like, "That's worth $500." And he's like, "Not here, it ain't, buddy. It's worth $50. Take it or leave it." So he takes the money, and he's like, "Oh, can I buy that gun as well?" So he's already thinking desperately now, Dan Aykroyd. He's already reached that sort of, a gun. I could get that. That might help me.
Randomly, just a horse point, in Jamie Lee Curtis's bedroom, she has a poster for See You Next Wednesday, which I presumably was a film.
No, it's not.
It's not. Right, okay, because in American Wealth in London, in the fake porn movie, in the porn theatre, they say, see you next Tuesday.
No, they say see you next Wednesday.
Oh, they say see you next Wednesday now?
That's a fake movie that John Landis puts in. It was in Thriller as well. When they go to the cinema in Thriller.
I saw it and I was like, hang on, it's like American Wealth London.
When they're in the...
it's a play on See You Next Tuesday.
When Michael Jackson's in the theatre at the start of Thriller, they're like, what does it say on the ancient text? And you hear the man go, it says... see you next Wednesday. And that's when the girl's like, oh, I want to leave. And he's like, well, let's go outside. And then he turns into a werewolf and chases her. John Landis puts that in a lot of his movies, See You Next Wednesday.
Fair enough.
It would be even funny if it was See You Next Tuesday, because as we all know, that stands for cunt. I don't say that word very often, but it's our Christmas special, so...
Oh, yeah, I say it quite often.
Throwing the cunts around for Christmas.
Exactly. Dan Aykroyd is in the pouring rain, and...
Oh, it's so low, this scene.
Yeah, and he looks basically in the window and sees Eddie sitting at dinner with some snobbish people, and them all laughing away, and he's just like, basically like, fuck, they've basically just... he's in my place. They've replaced me with him. So he kind of understands what's going on.
Well, it's a great scene, actually, because they're telling this joke, and the joke is basically, did you hear about the snails who were in a race, and one of them wanted their car with an S painted on it? So when I win, everybody can see that and say, look at that S car go. Yeah. And Eddie Murphy doesn't get it. His character doesn't get it, because he doesn't know what S car go is. But he laughs, and they're all laughing at him, and he's laughing. And he's feeling connected and he's feeling accepted. But in the rain outside, you've got Dan Aykroyd so sad just watching.
I do like it though when Eddie says to him, well, from the size of your girlfriend's jewellery, I think you're going to be needing all the money you can get. And it just says that to him at one point, and then everyone goes quiet. Then the guy laughs and they all start laughing at him and goes, hey.
Because he's been out in the rain and he's run down in stress. Dan Aykroyd is lying in Ophelia's bed.
Sick. Yeah.
And she's like, you're running a huge fever. You've got to look after you. And the best way for me to look after you is to get naked.
Body warmth.
And cuddle up to you. So we get some more boobs now.
She spoons him.
Yeah, now he actually has a client knocking on the door, and she sends him away to look after Dan Aykroyd because she's such a generous sex worker.
And he's like, no, you have business. I shall go somewhere. She's like, you're not going to. It's Christmas Eve. You're going to stay there. I'm going to make you a meal, and it's going to be Christmas. And she basically turns into his girlfriend at this point.
Gav, if I'm ever running a fever, could you please send Jamie Lee Curtis from 1983 around just to spoon me? Yeah, just to spoon me. Nothing more. Just spoon me, please, Jamie.
And spoon Fiji?
Both. some soup. Oh, that'd be great.
Spoon you like a tub of ice cream.
Oh, baby, spoon me and scoop me and put sprinkles on top. And some spray whipped cream. But they just sleep. Now, in the morning, he's feeling a bit better. So he's reading the newspaper and
she brings him like a breakfast in bed and brings him a newspaper. So it's just like...
She's a girlfriend.
She understands straight away that the lifestyle he was. So she wants to treat him super good because she really believes that he has this money and she can get back from this. But slowly, we're actually having a love story starting on here. But it doesn't at any point put a fingerprint on that.
I do think it's more than just that she wants the money as well at this point. I think she's starting to truly see the person that he is.
We don't see them when they're hanging out the whole time together, all night long, laying in bed together and stuff and things like that, talking what they're talking about, whatever. She's starting to fall in love with him.
Yeah,
but it's never. So. This isn't a love movie. This is a comedy. It's not a romantic film.
It's a comedy, but it's also a morality tale.
They could have easily gone this route and put some, and it'd been a bit, So I'm glad they didn't.
Now this is where his mind cracks because he opens the newspaper and he sees Eddie Murphy in there, this new addition to the trading world, and he's smashing it, and he knows that this is the guy that he thinks tried to mug him, and he knows this is the guy that for some reason the universe has cruelly replaced him with this Eddie Murphy guy. How has this happened? So he loses it, and the next scene is just unhinged. It's him dressed up in a filthy Father Christmas Santa Claus outfit, and he enters the club, where the Heritage Club, and he's just so desperate and so drunk, and it's disgusting. He starts filling his pockets with salmon, turkey,
in
pork.
my head, because it's early 80s. A couple of movies I watched at Christmas this, like Santa Claus the movie, we had on videotape and a few videos. I had this one on video, and also I've seen occasionally that Tales from the Crypt episode of the Father Christmas. And I had a couple of different Father Christmas in my head. His portrayal of Father Christmas in this, and that being that, is almost like a serial killer. He's got the look.
Yeah, it's like Silent Night, Deadly Night or something, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because it's all grey, the beard, and it's all dirty, and he just looks gross, and everyone's sort of looking at him a bit strangely, but he's dressed as Santa, so they don't question it initially. They don't see him sticking all the meat in his pockets.
No. And while this is happening, we've got Eddie Murphy. They've got Dukes there at the party, and Eddie Murphy comes up and says, I've just got some questions, and he basically questions about the beak stuff, which basically Dan Aykroyd discovered earlier. So we're basically having the same film start again, but with Eddie Murphy.
Because he says, I've just done all the salary checks, and
they're like,
for some reason
hang on, you're working on New Year's Eve. Wow, do you see this, Mortimer? He's working on New Year's Eve.
Yeah, he does confront them, and he says, why $10,000? This is very strange.
And don't worry, it's private projects. Don't worry.
So Eddie goes back to his desk in his office, and he finds
who's in there but Father Christmas, and he's not giving him presents, is he?
He's putting joints, big 80s marijuana joints, PCP, pills, cocaine, don't know where he's got it all from, heroin. He's pouring it all into his top drawer. And Eddie
he must have just got when he pawned, because he pawned it, and he managed to pick a gun when he pawned his Rolex watch. He must have got some extra money. He must have just gone to the first dealer and said, give me everything you've got and I'll buy it off you now. Yeah,
I want a nice range of drugs, please.
Yeah, because his idea is to plant it in his desk so he gets fired, so he can get his own job back. It's not the best of... He is losing it, though, so it's not the best of ideas.
So a few other people come into the office at this point, and Eddie Murphy's like, call security, this guy's... And he's like, no, I've caught him red-handed. Look, he's got all these drugs in his drawer. And he's like... And Eddie Murphy's like, clearly he's planting this. And so the tables have turned. This is like the briefcase early. He's like, no, clearly he's planting all this on me.
But we've got also this time around, though, not a naive person. It's like, oh my God, I'm being mugged. This time we've got someone that says, well, this is clearly framed, because we got the streets or someone that's actually logically thinking, looking at this person.
So Dan Aykroyd pulls his gun out, and he pulls his gun on Eddie, and everyone backs up a little bit, and then he just runs into the party screaming like a madman dressed as Santa with a gun.
At this point, though, he has the gun, he stands on the table. As he moves the gun around, everyone ducks, and he loves the power he now has once again. For
1
second, he has power.
And he's so drunk as well at this point.
So that's Sam gone. Eddie goes, well, fuck it, I'm going to keep, when he's clearing out the desk and putting it in the bin, he puts a joint in his pocket. So he goes off to the toilet to smoke a reefer.
Yeah, and he's having a little reefer in the cubicle.
And for this reason, he puts his... this would not happen. He just basically puts his feet on top of the toilet, so if anyone came in, they wouldn't see anybody in there. Yeah,
you'd smell it.
You'd fucking see a load of smoke going up a ventilation system, and you'd stink. Those guys, the Dukes, have probably been in that toilet a million times. If they go in there, they're like, stinks of bloody weed in here. But they don't.
Although they might not know what that is.
No,
but also, those joints are like proper big Jamaican joints, aren't they? They're not like your little
it's not that big because he puts it inside his mouth when they come in.
Oh, God, yeah, he does swallow it. Jesus. So, yeah, well, let's get to that. So the Dukes walk in. They check under the cubicles to see if anyone's in there.
Because they're going to have their discussion about their bet.
And then they talk about the bet. And they say, well, the bet, it looks like we've done it. Because there is Lewis, a drunken, drug-crazed, gun-toting madman on the edge of desperation, and we've got Billy Ray Valentine, who is a successful, trader. Everybody loves him. He's brilliant. He's well liked. He's got some good manners now. Well, let's say that the bet is done. How much was it for again? $1 as always. Yes, $1. And he hears this and he thinks, "What the fuck? How is what's going on here?" And then he hears them say, "Now, how do we go about reversing this?" And he says, "Well, should we reverse it? I don't think we can. I mean, we can easily make Billy Ray Valentine's life fall apart, just like we did with Lewis, and he'll be back out on the streets in a week. And then I don't really know if I want Lewis back in the organisation, to be honest. We certainly don't want an N-word running this organisation, do we?" No. And that's when his heart sinks and he thinks, these guys have really played me here. Yeah. And not only have they played me, they're awful racist pieces of shits as well. Yeah. And then they say, well, this sounds like a job for the new year. Let's sort all this out. Let's get Christmas out of the way and we'll deal with this in the first part of January. Yeah. And he thinks, that's it. I've got to go and find Lewis. So he runs and he's trying to find Dan Aykroyd. He sees a different Santa get on a bus. We get this horrible scene of Dan Aykroyd gets on the bus. His life ruined. He's just pulled a gun on everyone he used to work with. He's drunk. He starts pulling meat out of his trousers on this bus full of people, and he makes all these noises
with beard all over it. Me and Sarah are both like, oh, looking away from it.
Because his fake beard. He's chewing his fake beard up like while he's eating it. It's just awful.
I don't like eating fish anyway, so it comes across very horrible.
And then he gets off the bus, and then a dog just pisses on him in the street, and then it starts raining on him. He puts the gun to his head. And he pulls the trigger, but he didn't have enough money for the bullets, so it's an empty gun.
When he got on the bus, Eddie actually follows in a taxi.
He does.
Because Eddie's like, fuck, I need to talk to him. And he sees him and he goes, hey, look, I need to talk to you. And he goes, ah, and just walks off.
Like a zombie Santa. It's quite cool.
Pretty much.
And it gets even darker now because he goes back to Ophelia's. He locks himself in the bathroom.
Yeah.
And he takes a bottle of pills. Yeah. Eddie comes around and he says, hey, I need to speak to Lewis. Is he here? She's like, well, yeah, but who are you? And he's like, my name's Billy Ray Valentine and we've been duped. Where is he? She's like, he's in the bathroom. So he kicks the door in and they find him in the bath, passed out with the pills everywhere.
Cut to.
Wow.
I know. Cut to, though, he wakes up in bed and the camera's panned on it over the top of him in bed and he's like,
my bed.
Oh, my
pillows.
Oh, my God, it was just a dream. Oh, it's just a dream. Oh, my God. And he looks over, Coleman. Oh, Coleman, I wouldn't believe the dream I had. Da-da-da-da-da. Then says like the N-word again or something like that. And then looks up and Eddie Murphy's there and goes, oh, it's you! Jumps out and grabs him and says, you, I get it. And he says, it was not me. It was the Dukes. It was not me. It was the Dukes.
A very funny scene, actually. And he reveals to him, we cut then to them just sitting around and he says, look, it's an experiment. We're part of a social experiment that they wanted to do where they were switching us around. Yeah. I overheard the whole thing. And we're guinea pigs. And the butler says, I can confirm. Coleman says,
which unfortunately is giving up his job almost, because him doing that is like he's basically getting fired, because as soon as the Dukes find that out, if he like, they'd be like, what, you're fired. So he's very good doing that. But also we've got here now, when this happens, Dan Aykroyd of all of a sudden for the past week What's it been, about a week probably since it's all changed? I guess, because obviously he had fever and stuff like that, so a couple of days, maybe 4 or 5 days, 4 days, I don't know. In that time, he's had like lessons of life thrown at him, like almost
well, so's Eddie. So's Eddie Murphy.
Yeah, totally. But like,
money isn't everything.
Now, Dan Aykroyd's a different person from what the Dukes knew, and he is. His character has changed, it's grown, and he's got more street smarts. So him and Eddie together, they come up with a scheme.
Yeah, because Eddie understands the way that this world works, this rich world works now, but he can use his street smarts and then
at the
same time. Yeah. Exactly.
And
he's learned his
Dukes completely underestimated this. They did not think this plan through.
They didn't think they were going to team up and take them down like the way they're about to do. It's great.
So they know that there's this crop report coming out on New Year's Eve.
Well, that's because while they're chatting, Ophelia sees on television, she sees Mr. Beeks, and she says, "That's the guy who paid me to pretend to want drugs from you," and then he must be a spy, and he's the reason for all of this. Like he's like what do they call it? Like I can't remember what you call it now, but basically a spy within the industry who basically makes things happen and does all the underhanded things. That's why he gets paid $10,000 a month by the Dukes. So they've got their plan to ruin everything for them, because they're going to corner the orange juice market in a few days. So they've got a plan in action to flip that.
And I love this. This is where we go into the third act. And the third act, to me, because of so many 80s movies, you actually had that 80s horror movie of Jamie Lee Curtis on New Year's Eve on a train.
Yep.
And then just a couple of other movies set around this sort of time in the 80s. This third act, almost in my head, feels like another comedy movie. Do you know what I mean? It's a New Year's Eve party on a train. It feels like a different movie, even though it's part of the movie. It's quite refreshing when you get to this point. You're like, oh, great, we're now going on a train. We're also meeting now James Belushi.
We're also going to get some gorilla rape later on, which is very uncomfortable. I should imagine for the man involved as well. James Belushi shows up in this, which is strange.
No, it would have been SNL connections.
As a drunken guy in a gorilla suit. Like you said, everyone's in their costumes on this train.
But basically, it's a New Year's Eve party on a train, and the plan is that Beeks is going to be on his train on his way to meet the Dukes to give the crop report on New Year's Day. So he's got to go on a train. They find out what train it's going to be on. So they come up with a plan. All four of them have their own character. They get in costume beforehand and start coming up with their characters, because they've worked it out. Apart from when Jamie Lee Curtis says, "Hello, I'm from Sweden," and Coleman says, "But you're wearing lederhosen," obviously being German. He says, "Yes, from Sweden." And he's like, "Okay," because he's like, "You haven't worked this out."
So let's break down the plan.
It's
then we'll break
good.
down
I like it.
Except
blackface.
Yes, we'll get to that. But the plan is switch the briefcase out, give the Duke brothers a fake crop report, so they lose all their money, and Dan Aykroyd and Eddie Murphy will then make loads of money, and they'll share it with Coleman and Ophelia, and the four of them can go off into the sunset rich. And it does work out for them, spoiler alert. So that's the plan. But yes, let's get into their characters. So Mr. Beeks goes into a train carriage on his own, and he's very sort of checking that there's no one else around. He takes his job very seriously. In walks an old drunken priest, and it's Coleman. And he's like, hello there, Yerky. And he's Irish. He's putting on an Irish accent. He's like, would you like a little bit of the old whiskey there? Oh, yes. Oh, no, thank you. And he's chatting away, and Mr. Beeks is thinking, oh, am I going to have to put up with this guy for the whole thing? And then Eddie walks in.
They're too over the top. That's the problem. It's way too over the top and elaborate. But yeah, go on.
Well, then Eddie walks in, and he's a Nigerian exchange student, an exchange student from Cameroon, and he's like, Merry New Year! And he's like, it's Happy New Year. And he's like, yes, Merry New Year to you, my friend. And then he starts saying, would you like some beef jerky? And he's like, no. And then he's putting on this crazy African accent. It's so funny. So you've got this Irish drunk guy, and then you've got this Cameroonian exchange student, and then in walks the gorgeous Jamie Lee Curtis in lederhosen, and she's like, I am Elga from Sweden, and she's like, could you help me with my backpack? And she sort of thrusts her boobs into Mr. Beeks' face and distracts him.
He's like, oh, sure, okay.
So they switch the briefcases out, which is the first part of it. And then they've got to move the paperwork around and then switch them back. And then Dan Aykroyd comes in, and just when you thought this scene was brilliant, it unfortunately aged very badly.
When I was younger and I watched this, I didn't think anything of it. I was like, oh yeah, he's going along with it because he's in character. You don't think anything of it. Dan Aykroyd turns up as a Jamaican. He's got dreads and
he's got the full
painted
accent.
face.
He's like, yo man. And then because he's black
and he smokes
Eddie
a big
Murphy's
joint
black,
as well.
He's like they know each other, even though Cameroon is in Africa and Jamaica is in America. They know each other because they're black. And he's like, hey man, I recognize you. And he's like, oh yes, of course, I know you, my friend.
Yeah. Oh,
and he starts smoking. So then he's smoking joints. So now the carriage is full of marijuana smoke. It's got Jamie Lee Curtis's boobs, Irish drunk priest.
I'm looking at a promotional photo from them standing in the train. Someone's taking. Eddie Murphy's laughing. They all got their arms around each other. Eddie Murphy's sort of smiling. Coleman there, he's sort of just Jamie Lee Curtis is smiling away, kind of looking off camera. Then Dan Aykroyd is like, yeah, a massive grin on his face as a Rasta.
It's very strange. But Mr. Beaks does see the switch because, like you said, Gav, they're too over the top. They give the game away a little
Lionel
bit.
Joseph! Oh, Lionel Joseph! It's, oh my God. But before, very quickly, when Beaks is on his train sitting in his seat, the gorilla comes by and they stop for the moment because the gorilla handler's like, it's my turn to drive. You drove yesterday. No, it's my turn to drive. So they pause there because they're a bit thick, these two. And he looks at him and he starts putting faces at the gorilla, setting up the gorilla. But even though the gorilla doesn't know that's him later on, but he gets his comeuppance from the gorilla later on.
He does.
It's
he
so
really
funny.
does.
But anyway, so we've got our 4 planned characters set up
they do give
in
the
a
game
room.
away. And Mr. Beaks does.
They don't. First of all, though, they get away with it. They basically take the manage to when he helps Jamie Lee Curtis because she's got her boobs in his face up with her thing. They manage to get the briefcase away, go out the room, change the plans, come back, and it's when they're swapping it back he sees. So they almost got away with it.
Yeah, and he makes them all march at gunpoint into the baggage coach.
Yeah.
And he knows, I know who the 4 of you are. I can't believe you were trying to do this. You thought you could get away with it.
But he backs up towards the gorilla cage.
He does.
Who does that? Who backs up to a gorilla cage? Nobody.
Well, then in walks James Belushi
just
walks in a gorilla costume.
Gorilla, and the gorilla
and
behind Beaks is just like, there's another gorilla.
And he's like, hey man, are you guys having a party in here as well? Wow, typical Belushi sort of chatting
actually, it's
so
earlier
much.
on when he's been forcing them go through. Jamie Lee Curtis says, hey, he's like, hey, who are you? She says, I'm from Sweden. He says, hey, okay. And he says, who's that, your dad? About Beaks, and he goes following after, hey, come here, because he's just in party mode and he's seen Jamie Lee Curtis's boobs. So
he's on a lot of cocaine. He's just playing himself.
Yeah, pretty much.
Just playing himself, really.
It's his brother that was very much into cocaine.
Well, I think both Belushis probably.
I guess maybe it was the 80s.
Yeah. So they knock out the gorilla. Sees the fake gorilla. He knocks out Mr. Beaks.
Did we talk about? Sorry, very quickly. Did we talk about Popeye before? The production. It's apparently the most coked out production ever. Because someone went down there, an executive producer went down there, and he said out of all the movies I went on in the 80s, Popeye was the one which was like everybody was fucked on coke. Did we not speak about it? I've never seen the movie.
We did.
Though.
No, we did. No, I've seen it. Me and my sister used to rent it out a lot when we were kids.
I'm going to have to watch it then.
It's quite a dark film at times. It's very strange for based on a cartoon.
Anyway, we're back with a gorilla and them at gunpoint.
Yeah, he knocks out Mr. Beaks, so they tie him up. Yeah, and they tie him up and they ask James Belushi if they can have his gorilla costume, and he's like drunk and high, and he's like, "Yeah, man, take it." And then he walks back in the carriage and
look what happened to me,
and everyone's like, "Ray!" So the party just carries on.
Yeah,
they put him in the cage, and the gorilla just seems really happy with him and starts pulling him close towards him. And you think, well, surely this isn't going to happen.
Yeah.
Let me cut away from that for a little bit.
Do gorillas have large penises?
No, I should imagine they do, Gav.
I'm going to find this out.
Gorilla.
I need to find out.
I should imagine a silverback gorilla is.
This is
hacking.
where the government hack into my computer and say, "Watch his search engine. Do gorillas have large penises?" They're like, "We don't need to keep an eye on him. He's fighting."
David Attenborough has certainly never covered that in one of his wildlife programs. This 12-inch penis of the silverback gorilla.
No, gorillas actually have relatively small penises, especially when compared to the large body size. They are among the smallest in the primate world, averaging around 1.25 inches.
Oh, then it's not a problem.
Which is tiny compared to human proportions.
But for the sake of this, it's a huge gorilla having its way with a man, so we're led to believe it's quite a big thing. And also it's very powerful gorilla as well, isn't it? You know?
Yeah, you're more likely to get crushed to death.
Yeah. So we don't see any of that as yet, because the next scene now is the Dukes pulling up in a car park to do this dodgy deal with what's the guy from the X-Files called? It's kind of like that kind of
David Duchovny.
Cancer Man. No, Cancer Man, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's that kind of thing. So they turn out and somebody's in the shadows and they think it's Mr. Beaks, and he does an impression of him, Eddie, doesn't he? He's like, and he kicks the briefcase over to them, and they're like, "Thank you, Mr. Beaks. Your next check will be with you soon." And as he backs away, we see that it's actually Eddie Murphy in disguise, and he's really pleased about it. And so he's giving them the fake crop report. So then we cut to Lewis saying, "Thank you all so much for all giving me your life savings. I promise you this is going to work." So they've all given him their life savings. I don't know how much Eddie Murphy's got. Probably not a lot. Well, he might have a lot because he's been rich for a week. So he goes to go and turn this into a lot of money on the stock exchange. And I don't really understand the stock exchange, so I'm not going to pretend to understand what's going on. But all I know is they go into this room and everyone's screaming and shouting. And Eddie Murphy and Dan Aykroyd are sort of hidden within the crowd of people that are going, buy, buy, sell, sell, buy, buy.
And they're waiting, though.
And they're waiting for the just.
Eddie's like, come on, go. Dan's like, no. They're all suddenly like, and they all sort of go, oh, I don't understand it. So they have these bits of paper and they're kind of writing down, how do they keep any organisation going on?
That's what I was thinking.
It's ridiculous. It makes no sense. But apparently one of the most stressful jobs I think there is going.
Apparently they
have you seen the video? Sorry, very quickly. Have you seen the video of Robert Downey Jr. at a stock exchange?
No, I haven't.
He's at stock exchange. He's quite a lot younger, and he's watching them. And he stand outside talking, saying, and he says, like, "I've never seen such a horrible group of." It just goes through this whole thing, saying that, like, greedy, horrible, scum-sucking people in one room. It's like, because he's there looking at them all, going, "What the fuck is going on here?" It's quite interesting.
Well, apparently for this scene, they actually had to pause trading, and they lost like $500,000 or something ridiculous in 3 minutes worth of pausing, so they could film this scene.
Did Paramount have to pay it back?
I don't really know how it worked, really.
Shit.
But the Dukes...
Why don't you just fucking make a set?
I don't know. But the Dukes are... They spot Dan Aykroyd and Eddie Murphy within the crowd.
Yeah, like, what are they doing here?
And they're like, let's stop them, but they can't get to them in time.
They realise when because everybody's looked at the Dukes and said, look, the Dukes know something. So they start jumping on the Dukes thing. So all this money is basically going on what the Dukes think. So the other Dan and Eddie are betting on the underdog, the underdog, so to speak. Yeah, because no one else is. So they're being able to buy stocks really, really cheaply, which is going to make them very, very rich because everyone's putting all their money on the other stocks. But this is where it all fucks up for them.
Well, the Dukes are down $394 million, and they're
amazing how quickly that could happen, though. Insane, isn't it?
They're declared bankrupt on the spot by the owners of the stock exchange.
And the owners are like, right, you owe us that money.
And they're like, well, we're going to have to take you. And they're like, no, the Dukes have been in this organisation for generations. You can't do this to us. They're like, not anymore, buddy. Not anymore. And they're ruined. One of the brothers has a heart attack and starts falling on the floor.
And when the other guy says, your brother's having a heart attack, says, oh, forget about him.
No, he doesn't say that.
What does he say?
He says, I think your brother needs medical attention. He goes, fuck him.
Oh, well, there you go.
It's so good because it comes out of nowhere. And yeah, we see one of them taken off in an ambulance, and Eddie Murphy and Dan Aykroyd are very happy.
Like Eddie and Dan say, "Okay, so there you go. I believe you won the bet. Here you go," and pulls out a crisp $1 and goes, "Thank you." And they
look at them right in front of them.
Oh my god!
There's a really good chemistry between Aykroyd and Murphy, isn't there?
It's really, really good, yeah. And like I say, I think John Landis is putting this all together nicely. I think John Landis is the glue, you know.
Final moment from Mr. Bex. We see
Beaks.
the gorilla in the Mr. Beaks. Sorry, we see a gorilla in the cage with the other gorilla. He's like, "Hey, I thought it was only supposed to be one gorilla." And he's like, "I don't know, maybe one of them is the female." And he's like, "Which one?" And he's like, "The little one must be the female," which is obviously Mr. Beaks.
And makes his eyes go, "Woo!"
And then he goes, "Well, let's get them off to Africa because it looks like they're getting frisky in there."
I know. And you see them being loaded onto a cargo plane, boat. Cargo ship.
And then what a brilliant final shot, because it kind of tricks us a little bit, because you see Eddie Murphy on the beach with a girl. I can't remember who the girl is. And then he says, "Hey, Coleman, what are we doing for dinner?" And you think Coleman's still their butler, but Coleman's on holiday as well. And he's like, "Well, I don't care, so we can have the cracked crab or the lobster." And then the girl's like, "Why do we have both?"
Yeah.
And he's like, "Yeah, good idea." And then they all sort of cheers their drinks. And then Dan Aykroyd's on the yacht out at sea, and he shouts out, "Hey, looking good, Billy Ray." And he's like, "Feeling good." And they're all so happy, and they're living the good life, and they've won. And they got $394 million, and they're living in the Caribbean. Dan Aykroyd, Eddie Murphy, Jamie Lee Curtis, and Coleman the butler. And that's the end. And it's great. Eddie Murphy is, like I said at the beginning, simply phenomenal in this. His acting range, his character arc, he does actually hold back quite a lot, because I think as he became more Eddie Murphy, like by the time he was Axel Foley, he was just Eddie Murphy in every movie, which was great in the Beverly Hills Cop movies, but it can be grating. But in this, he does pull it back a little bit, I think. This was obviously, I think it was his second theatrical role. And I think it was the first movie he starred in. Or was 48 Hours before this? I think 48 Hours might have been before this.
48 Hours was the first film he did.
That's right, it's the first film, and then he did this. So what a great couple of movies to start his career. And Dan Aykroyd's really good in it as well. Again, I've not seen him play a character quite like this before. He's quite vulnerable, because we think he's a dick, a rich dick, but he's actually quite vulnerable and just gets played just like everybody else. But yeah, it's a great tale of morality. It's a bit of a Christmas Carol or a It's a Wonderful Life what if tale. You know, you get to look at what your life could be like if you were in different circumstances, and you get to appreciate what you've got. But it's all done in a very comical, Christmassy way, a very 80s way.
Yep.
And like you said, Gav, I think what summed it up is what you said earlier about the Eddie Murphy looking at the camera. It knows it's a story and it's a film. It doesn't try to sort of make it too serious. It is serious at times, but all the way through, it's just a fun ride, isn't it? All the way through.
Yeah.
It's great stuff. It's really, really good.
Right. That's definitely recommend for me if you've never seen that film. Now, shall we get on to... no, we won't get on to a trailer, because I see a certain 80s actor from CNL has appeared in the room.
Yes, and he's in a Santa costume as well, a dirty Santa costume, and he's pulling meat out of his trousers, but it is a different type of meat he's pulling out of his trousers.
I thought he said he was pulling you out of his trousers. Pulling me out of his trousers.
No, he's pulling himself out of his trousers. Is that, what kind of sausage is... Oh, okay.
I'm not having that for Christmas.
Look at those sprouts. Well, Bill Murray, could you please... Bill Murray Christmas to you. Yes, I did say it, Bill. Merry Christmas, Gav. He wants us all to say.
Merry Christmas. All right, shall we do it?
Please take us into World of the Strange, Bill.
Hi, welcome back to World of the Strange.
World of the Strange.
World of the Christmassy Strange.
World of the Strange, boys and girls.
World of the Wintry Strange.
World of the Strange.
World of the Strange.
Strange. Well, thank you, Murray. Bill Murray. Oh God, Gav. He's put his sprites away for now, and is pig in a blanket, so that's good. So yeah, it's Christmas time, and we all give and receive presents and gifts at Christmas time, don't we? And we always get a gift every year that we're not quite really. It's always like some socks or a hanky or something, but you know, you're grateful for it. They're not always very well thought out. Sometimes though, we get gifts that are perhaps a little bit inappropriate as well. I remember my grandfather purchasing me, my dad, my brother and sister and mum a knit comb each for Christmas once.
Wow!
Well, none of us had knits or had lice.
Yeah, I reckon your dad just happened to like be somewhere where they're giving out knit combs.
Well, it was my grandfather that did this.
All right, your grandfather was somewhere where they're
and my
giving
dad
out
was
knit
like,
combs.
I said to my dad, "What's this? Why is this brush like this?" And he said, "It's a knit comb." And I said, "Have I got knits?" I was only about 10, and he said, "No, I don't know why your grandpa's done that. Don't worry about it." I was like, "Okay."
I just think small children have knits.
But I have a list of very inappropriate gifts that have been given out at Christmas to people, and I'm going to go through that with you.
Oh, go for it.
Some of these are very quick, rapid fire.
That's fine.
First one is, guy was a recovering alcoholic, and his brother gave him a bottle of whiskey for Christmas.
Oh, that is fucking harsh.
Yeah.
Maybe say it to him as a test.
Another one is a girl. Somebody said, my cousin lost all of her hair during cancer treatment, but her parents got her a beauty basket of hair products for her birthday. What?
I can see a pattern there. When I gave up drinking, my mum and dad actually for that Christmas gave me a Jack Daniel's shot glass and a little miniature bottle, and I said, I don't drink. She said, oh, what, you've actually given up drinking? Yes, I don't drink anymore. Done.
Here's another one. 2 weeks after having my child, my mother gave me a set of bathroom scales for Christmas.
Wow.
My sister got given a designer purse, a laptop, and $400 in cash.
Yeah, but they know that they're going to be supplying cash to that woman and her child for much more anyway.
That's bad, isn't it? That is bad. This next one's a good one. My auntie was visiting, not mine, the story. My auntie was visiting over Christmas. She spent Christmas Day with us. My wife and I spent $50 on a gift basket for her full of cheese, mugs, crackers, spreads, teas, lots of really nice stuff. The next day, we all went to visit my grandfather. She was there as well, my auntie that I'd given this basket to. My grandfather opened his gift from her. And lo and behold, it was the same gift basket we'd just given her.
Nice.
However, about a third of the stuff was missing. She'd basically taken out all the things that she liked and given our grandfather all the things that she didn't want.
I like the idea. I like the thinking.
She just did that in front of them. Didn't give a shit.
Yeah.
Well, I don't like these crackers and these cheeses, so your grandpa can have them.
Just replace them. Yeah, with some shitter crackers or something.
It's bad, isn't it? That's bad.
I don't know.
This is a sad one. Not sad, but for my 18th birthday, my parents took me to a car dealership and said, we're going to buy you a car, a used car, but we're going to buy you a car for your birthday. Then once I started looking around, they said, actually, Gav, we've decided we don't want to buy you a car. I think it's going to just cost too much money and you can't be trusted with it. So they let him look around for half an hour trying to pick out a car that he wanted, and then said, yeah, no, we're not going to do it. We're not going to buy you a car.
That's amazing.
Merry Christmas.
Cheers for that.
Merry Christmas to you for that. Let's move on to another one then. My mum offered to, this is the next story, my mum offered to pay for liposuction as a birthday gift. She said, I haven't got you anything yet, but they do vouchers for liposuction treatment. I was thinking about getting you that. You know, for your tummy, you know.
Well, they might have had this discussion before, though.
No.
Oh, okay.
She said, she says, the last sentence is, I've never even been overweight.
Oh. Maybe there's an offer.
It's very strange, isn't it?
Yeah.
Very strange.
Maybe she had a coupon.
Moving on to the next one then. So, last year, Secret Santa in the office, someone gave me a box of chocolates, which had already been opened, and about a quarter of the box had been eaten.
Wow.
We're not doing Secret Santa in the office this year. So it says after that. Can I tell you my Secret Santa story?
I was last night working in Bristol, your town. Sorry I didn't come see you. Twice I've been in Bristol this week and I still didn't come see you. Because I can't. Anyway, I was working around this time when I work in offices. Lots of people have got all their chocolates and crisps out, and you can eat them. But they had loads of those packets of little ones, which are a bit like Christmas tree like crackery type ones in the big tubes. You get different
Oh
colours.
yeah, I love those. Yeah.
Trouble is, I was like, I really like them. I was like, but I'm not going to do it. How many hands of people I don't know have been rummaging in this? And I was like, nah. So I left it and had a cherry, fuck's sake, Terry's chocolate orange slice instead, which was individually wrapped, not a Clockwork Orange. I'll try to say Clockwork Orange.
That's very strange.
Okay, sorry, carry on.
I just want to quickly tell you my Secret Santa story.
Oh, yeah.
When I first started a new job, the manager of my team, a lady, she opened her Secret Santa, and there was a dildo,
nice,
a bottle of wine,
the party,
and some chocolate.
That's a party.
And the card, unsigned, of course, said, "Everything you need for a nice night in on your own, from Secret Santa."
Yeah.
But she was the manager.
Yeah, but the manager's probably not getting any.
Very strange.
I don't know. It's quite good. Depends who what sort of type of people these were, you know.
I bought my sibling a brand new iPad because I knew that's what they really wanted for Christmas, and they gave me a $15 Starbucks gift card.
Yeah, that's not good. But
they'd had the discussion beforehand. What do you want for Christmas? An iPad. Yeah, I can get you an iPad. All right, great. Here's a few things I want. All right, great. The worst thing is, I don't even like coffee.
Oh no.
It says.
Yeah, that's not good.
That's pretty mean.
It's hard when it becomes the presents, when it becomes like a thing. Do you know what I mean?
Here's a funny one. For my 17th birthday, I received a gift card to a woman's clothing store, and this is a guy, a woman's clothing store that had gone out of business a year earlier. What a waste of fucking time. You can't even go and buy a dress because the shop's shut.
Yeah.
If you wanted to wear the dress.
Yeah.
It's not good. It makes me really appreciate all my presents, these stories now. I'll just do a couple more before we wrap up. A lady in my office, not my office again, it sounds like I'm telling you lots of stories personally. A lady in my office was believed to be pregnant. So everybody got together and bought her a baby car seat for Christmas, and said, this will help, next year when you have the baby. Turns out she was just fat. That's awkward.
It is awkward.
Isn't it? Why have you got me this? Well, pointing at the tummy. No, I'm not pregnant.
I have said this one before when I asked my mum for a Beastie Boys album and she got me the Pet Shop Boys.
Oh dear.
I know. That was not good. I was like, oh. Ended up, actually, the album is called Actually. Ended up quite liking the album, and I still actually listen to it quite once in a while because it's quite good beats and stuff on it. I know it's a Pet Shop Boys, but actually some of that stuff's okay. It's quite catchy pop synth stuff.
It's a bit like the time your mum confused the Black Panther with the Pink Panther as well.
Oh, that fella from the Pink Panthers died, Gavin.
Bless her.
Pink Panther, Peter Sellers, he died years ago, Mum.
Here's another one. We always open our Christmas presents in front of each other. My grandparents handed me my Christmas present from them. It was a box with sexy lingerie in it. They told me, quick, go and try it on and show everyone. I was 16 at the time.
Oh, no.
What the fuck were those grandparents thinking?
That's very weird.
They don't listen to this podcast, so I can quickly tell you this story.
Well, I was going to say very quickly, I never spoke to my mum about Black Panther once. I don't even know why she is trying to tell me about this character anyway, the fella that died.
She was just telling you what she saw on the news.
I guess. Go on in.
Once, when Alice was much younger, her mum bought her dad for Christmas some underwear, but she bought the wrong underwear, and she bought him a thong.
You've told this before.
Have I? Have I told you?
I think you've told this one. Yeah.
It's one of those Tanga brief thongs,
nice.
And apparently he opened it in front of his two daughters, and just was like, looked at his wife like, "The fuck have you bought me?" And she realised.
Don't show the sexy times presents with the kids in the room. Right to the bedroom later.
But I do not want to think about my father-in-law wearing a tanga brief thong. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's bad. I'll see if we've got any other ones on this list before we wrap up and head back to Bill Murray. Here we go. My grandmother gave my brother a tea towel for Christmas when he was 8.
Nice.
A tea towel for an 8-year-old boy.
Yeah, I imagine if we both look through all of our presents, so can I see them in 85 you got this, it's all on our table and we can see it all, we'd probably go, that was well shit. Yeah, I'm sure that's happened.
Yeah, probably when we were kids. So you always get an auntie that buys you something.
I had Sarah going to me, what can I get Elijah? And he's 11, and it's like, I don't know. You'd think it'd be really, really easy. It's actually quite hard. What does he do? He likes to play Roblox and watch YouTube. It's like, but yeah.
I also once got, this is another one, I once got a used dirty apple slicer from one of my in-laws. It was wrapped up. Everyone around me was opening up lovely presents like scented gifts and lotions. And I got an apple slicer that still had some dried apple skin on it.
Oh, shit.
What? But surely these people are trying to send a message when they give these awful presents. They must be trying to send a message to these people, really. I don't know. I feel like, apart from the lingerie grandparents, I feel like that's just seedy and weird. And the last one is, one of my colleagues told me what he'd bought his wife for Christmas. He'd bought her a week in fat camp. He said, do I think that's a good idea? And I said no. And he said, well, I think she's going to love it.
He's not getting laid for 12 months.
Apparently they were divorced within a year.
There we go.
So that started them down the road to divorce. Yeah. The last one, sorry. My uncle gave me a box of turtles one year.
Maybe Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles have just come out.
Like, how many turtles can you get in a box?
I don't know. What sort of size box are we speaking?
Like, even a shoe box, you can get like a good 10 baby turtles in there, maybe more.
But were they baby ones? We don't know.
What are you going to do with them all?
I don't know.
Thanks, Uncle. Why have you got an abundance of turtles?
I watched a movie the other day where they just gave out Dead of Winter. Give a shout out to it. Where they give out, I think it was Dead of Winter. They give out a bag. No, it wasn't. It was Five Nights at Freddy's. I watched Five Nights at Freddy's Part 2 at the cinema.
Part 2, yeah.
It was actually not bad. It's better than the first one. It actually had, very quickly, it had the two killers from the original Scream film both in the same film.
Yes, I've seen that. They're both
essentially killers, which is, I was like, oh, that's a strange little nod. It's actually not a too bad film, really. I'm not gonna. You have to watch the first one to watch the second one, but the first one's not very good. And if you don't know the games and stuff, you probably wouldn't like it. But if you know, it's actually not too bad, surprisingly. Anyway, they gave out. I think it was that movie. They gave out goldfish at a petrol station. I feel like it was that film. I can't remember. Randomly, and it's like, what did you do with that? With a bag of goldfish? Was it that film? No, I felt like it was Dead at Night, which is quite a good movie as well. Dead of Winter. Anyway, sorry, I digressed badly there.
That's okay. Well, that's a list of, and I didn't want to get too dark with World of the Strange because it's Christmas and we want to try and keep it festive. But that is the list of relatively inappropriate or strange presents. I think my favourite is still the grandparents going, go on, go and try it on and show everyone. Their heart was probably in the right place, but they didn't really think it through.
No. Right.
What's the worst present you've ever received? Can you think?
No, I can't. I think the disappointment for thinking I had a Beastie Boys and a Pet Shop Boys album. I think it's
that's quite funny.
Yeah, I didn't know. I asked for it and then I opened it up and I was just like, "What's this?" The Pet Shop Boys. Then I think the realization was worse. And then I put it on and went, "Oh, right, West End Girls."
I mean, they're pretty decent. They're just not the Beastie Boys.
It's synth pop. It wasn't. How about you?
I think maybe that knit brush. I think.
Yeah. I'd say that takes the biscuit.
I was probably about 10 years old, and Grandpa usually gave me a £5 or bought me like a book voucher. But this year there was a box, and I thought, oh great, there's something in here. Yeah. He put it in a little box for me, and then I realised we were all opening the same present from him. I was like, why has he bought us these head lice brushes? None of us have got it. I've never even had head lice in my life. It's very strange, and that's probably why. Probably because I use that brush. So actually, maybe he did a good thing.
Maybe.
I don't know.
Right, well,
Bill,
thank you, Bill.
What's the worst thing you've had, Bill?
A cucumber? Oh, I don't know what that means.
Okay, interesting.
Right.
Well, Bill, take us out of here. Please. Put that away.
And let's bring us into a trailer for the next movie, Bill.
That's all the time we've got for this week on World of
Strange.
Next week, though, gimme Ira. Hairless pets. Weird.
I don't know what I'm doing wrong. I've lost my influence. Maybe it's time I retired the coat.
You still have it.
Some kids with a deer rifle put 2 holes in the sleigh, one in me. All I have is a loathing for a world that's forgotten.
The United States military would like to procure your services.
This is a one-time deal, gentlemen. How are you, Mike? Nicole and the kids are well, I hope.
Where are you?
You just lost a big son! FATMAN!
What's the job?
I'd like you to kill Santa Claus.
I'm looking for the Fat Man. You can't be serious.
This is what people actually think of me. Christmas is a farce. I am a joke.
What's the purpose of your visit?
Hunting. I'm gonna kill some things.
There is a rising number of our youth making poor decisions.
Want the big man's head.
Severed heads rot, they mold.
They don't want his beard.
I'm not shaving off a dead man's beard.
Your workers sure have healthy appetites.
That's why elves live much longer than humans.
And Chris, he does the same?
No, it's a giving that keeps him young.
I've come for your head, Fat Man!
Dashing through the snow on a one-horse open sleigh.
You think you're the first?
All the fields will go.
Think I got this job because I'm fat and jolly?
Laughing all the way. Jingle bells, jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride in a one-horse open sleigh.
I'll come while you sleep. The Fat Man's got his eye on you, kid.
Hey, whoa!
Oh, that's Donner. Lucky it wasn't Blitzer. Should tear your package clean off.
Fat Man.
I am not.
I was waiting for that. Fat Man from 2020. Rated R for pirates. 1 hour and 40 minutes. A rowdy, unorthodox Santa Claus is fighting to save his declining business. Meanwhile, Billy, a neglected and precocious 12-year-old, hires a hitman to kill Santa after receiving a lump of coal in his stocking.
I think that's a terrible portrayal of Mel Gibson. A rowdy, unorthodox Santa Claus. Unorthodox, I'd say, possibly in his business ethics. But I don't think put him across as rowdy. He's just likes to look after himself and have a fight. I don't know if that's classed as rowdy. He's not starting beef for people. He's
finishing it.
He's a bit rough and ready. Yeah. He's not causing it. It comes to him, but So I think that's a disjustice on the character. Anyway, this is my choice from last year when I watched it, and I said you got to check out this movie. I think it's pretty much under the radar still, I would like to say, and I don't feel like many people have seen it.
Agreed, yeah. My dad's seen it, my dad liked it.
A rating of 34,000's okay, but nothing amazing, It's quite funny. You can see popularity of movies from how many people have rated them, stuff like that. You can see across the board of different films. But I love this film. I like the fact that this feels like a 70s movie in a way, but with the styling and ethics of editing in the 2020s or whatever, do you know what I mean? Or wherever this was made. it's just kind of got a real, like, you can imagine it, but they might have made this in the 70s, but they probably wouldn't. I don't know. Probably not, because Santa Claus would have been more beloved. There's probably only a certain time they could have made this where, like, there's a hitman going after Santa Claus, but it's still almost like a Western type film. But I feel like it feels like a 70s film in a way. There's a bit when there's this amazing bit with Walter Goggins, who's our hitman, by the way. Mel Gibson's our Santa Claus.
The skinny man,
which are great.
Character.
They're both great characters to have together. And they only share a very small bit of screen time. The whole time it's them with their separate stories. But there's one bit just to show, and it's not an ingenious. It's not like, oh my god, these guys are genius of directors. It's because it's actually two directors, two brothers.
It's brothers, yeah.
Yeah. When it comes down to it, Walter Goggins is travelling from A to B to C to D to E to F, and generally you don't show that, or if you do need to show it, you can do stuff. And the easiest way to do it is little cuts of them driving along. But the way they do it is so, I find, almost
the musical
genius.
scene.
It's the music, yeah. It's a different genre, not just a different song. It's a different genre, which kind of goes like he drove from state to state to state to state. He drives to Canada basically to go for wherever he's coming from.
He's going all the way to Alaska, yeah.
And it's such a long drive that he goes through these different genres of music, like say he's listening to Spotify or some shit, and he just goes, I do, because I relate to this. I drive a lot, so sometimes I'm like, fuck it, Siri, play something for me, play some rock for me, or play some metal for me, play some hard hip hop for me, do you know what I mean? I go through these different genres, just like, what genre of music do I feel today? And I play it, and I love the way that they use that to go through the extent of the length of his travelling via him going, I've listened to like 20 songs
it goes from country, then it goes to like pop, then there's like gospel, then there's hip hop, then there's
maybe
Christmas music.
It's even more clever than that, the way they go for it. Maybe the different states they're going through, that sort of genre of music comes from it. Almost in a way, well. It could be even that clever, but it's just little things like that made this movie a little bit more special than normal.
So a couple of little bits before we get into this one then. So yeah, this is my second watch. I think your second watch as well. You recommended it to me. I watched it last Christmas and really enjoyed it. It's a strange mix of John Wick, Santa Claus the movie, a couple of other little things rolled in there, and it's almost a bit of a Fargo because of the snowy setting. It feels a bit like the Coen brothers type.
It definitely does. There's a funny thing with this and Violent Night, where all of a sudden you have to put aside the fact that Santa Claus is not real. Sorry, kids, if you're out there and you're listening. But like, you have to just go out. No, Santa Claus just exists with us. And he's a thing that does actually fly through, but we don't ever talk about it. It's not even a special thing. He's been with us the whole time. He is actually a person that lives in Canada and flies around at Christmas Eve giving out presents. And he actually has a factory full of elves. And this must be a known thing because it's not a weird thing. Do you know what I mean? The fact that the kid goes, right, I'm going to get you dead. He knows that Elvis. Why did I say Elvis? He knows that Santa Claus, maybe Elvis was Santa Claus, I'd love to see that, was actually giving out presents and shit, do you know what I mean? So I find this such a strange movie, but at first I didn't like it like Violent Night, where it's like, no, this is actually Santa Claus and you've got to believe that. In this movie here, at no point whatsoever in this film do we have any markers or anything to discussing it. It's just a thing. We go into the movie going, he is Santa Claus. He doesn't even say it. He just says, I've got a lot of work to do tonight. It's made out as in like normal blue collar person going about their day to day with their wife who's struggling for money. But his occupation happens to be the only occupation that only one person in the world actually does, and it's Santa Claus. Yeah. It's so weird, and the government gives him money.
Well, this is what sells it, is that the government are linked to it, because they would be, you know, they give him money because they want to keep the Christmas spirit alive, so they can sell Coca-Cola and trinkets with his face on them and all that kind of stuff, you know.
Of course, it's such a clever, sneaky movie,
and we don't get any backstory, and we don't get how old he is. We get that he's probably maybe immortal. We don't know that. We see that he can survive bullets and things. We don't find out his backstory. We don't need to. We don't care about the elves. The government don't seem that bothered about it when they meet the elves. They question them, you know, why do you eat so much sugar and stuff like this? Yeah. And they give some scientific reasons about the way they are. But the government don't question it. And then, of course, you know, and again, this is jumping ahead a little bit, but then, of course, the government approach him and say, look, you're losing money every year, Santa, or Kris Kringle. So, look, if you help us build some jet fighters, because your elves can build stuff like super quick, super efficiently. If you help us build some weapons, some, possibly some missiles, some jet fighters, we will give you more money than you know what to do with. Let's try it for a couple of months. And if you're happy with it, we can make this like a 15-year contract. And that's quite like, they just do it. It's quite almost, apart from the Santa side of it, it's quite a realistic storyline, plot line, and then throw in the fact, what makes it a Fargo movie is, like you said, there are two stories that smash together at the end. One of them is a hitman on his way. He's doing stuff for this kid, but then he gets sent to find Kris Kringle. And the other one is all based at Kris Kringle's farm with him and his wife. They're being all cozy. They love each other. They've probably been married for hundreds of years. And he's Santa and he's got his elves. And we know that at some point these two are going to collide because one of them has been paid to kill Santa. But also, how dark is it that you got a Santa movie where Santa's being... And I know Violent Night was quite... obviously quite violent, but this is like a hitman has been hired by a child, and the kid that plays him as well, amazing. I mean, I know we are going to get into all of this in a minute anyway. So I loved this the first time I watched it. I really feel like he channels Riggs in this a lot, Mel Gibson. There are times where, because I think Riggs is his sort of...
It's his go-to.
His top character that he's played. I think broken, hurt, vulnerable.
Yeah, I think he plays like sometimes you have some people who like when you get Danny Dyer, you get Danny Dyer. I think Mel Gibson, Riggs in Mel Gibson.
Yeah, because he does feel like he's a bit grumpy, but he's also like, you don't fuck with him as well, The end scene, which we'll get to, is fantastic as well.
Oh God, I'm looking at a picture of him now. How hard he looks.
Yeah,
he just looks tough as fuck. He's bit. Like, I hate the fact as you can see, I am very much now in the Father Christmas realm with beard and with my grey beard. It's just happened.
I'm Doctor Strange at the moment because I've got all the edges at the moment, and that's it. Just Doctor Strange.
And mine's not far off the length of Mel's there. This is a bit more, but I still wouldn't be able to get it. But then again, they would have literally had that comb and stuff just before they shot, like someone had got out of frame as they said, "Okay, action," and his beard's like that. But I can never keep my beard that good. But I do try. But I'm at that realm now of life where I'm getting into Mel Gibson beard territory.
Yeah, I can't wait. I can't wait till I look like Kurt Russell in the Christmas Chronicles. The big grey white beard.
Right, let's get into this. We've got this spoilt kid starting off this movie. He's obviously a child that's got an inheritance. I know someone like this who had an inheritance all of his life and probably still does.
I think I might know who you're talking about. I think I've been to their house.
No.
Maybe not them. Yes, a young boy, and he's writing a letter to Santa. Very rich kid, Billy. This is so we'll learn more about him as we go on. Kid that plays him is a really great actor because this is a chance to not just play a typical kid in a Christmas movie. He plays an absolute little shit. Yeah. And we'll get to that. So we see Santa.
Very quickly, we don't really find out or know the kid's backstory, really. We know his dad doesn't really give a shit, but he's got enough money that he can have his kid have a whole life, have butlers and fucking everything.
Well, it's very much like Lewis from
very much.
Trading Places, isn't it? Again, we always do this. There's a parallel here. This could be a young Lewis, you know what I mean, from Trading Places.
Yeah. Well, no, because Dan Aykroyd's not as evil as this kid, that's for sure.
No, that's true.
But this kid's like proper evil, and his evilness comes more and more so from his lack of love from a parent at the end of the day. And we don't really get to know about his backstory, his father, where the money comes from or anything. He just happens to be there like Father Christmas is. We just go along with the story and we start rolling with it.
And he's got servants and butlers, but we'll see all of that in a moment. So we see our first sign of Kris Kringle, and he's practicing shooting. He's got a load of bottles and cans lined up, and he does not miss. Because he's been around for hundreds of years, I expect. So he's been practicing shooting for a long time. And it's really interesting. You see him shooting and hitting everything. And his wife comes out, Mrs. Claus comes out. What's her name in this? Ruth. His wife's called Ruth in this. She comes out and she's like, "Hey, how you doing? You okay?" And she's like, "Yeah, not too bad. I'm just." She's like, "Well, when you finish shooting all the trash, you might want to get started on, getting ready for doing your rounds. You know what I mean? But I need to let you know that this has been our lowest year on record for letters coming for you. The Christmas spirit is really low, and I don't know how much money the government's going to give us."
So we're not
the government.
Sorry,
I was going to say, I think so. It's like the government give them money based on the Christmas spirit. And because kids are little shits these days, which he says in this himself, he's like, they're just so awful, these little children. There's just Christmas spirit is dwindling, and he knows he's going to get a really weak amount of money from the government this year. But he's still got to go out and do it because he's Chris Kringle.
It's funny enough, there's no message comes from this. We don't get like a tale come first at the end as a good outcome. We get to it, but we don't really. Very quickly, going back to the letter speaking, the little kid himself, where we're introduced to him in his the way he lives and his inheritance type lifestyle. He's writing a letter to Santa. Then the contrast of a child writing a letter to Santa, because kids write a letter to Santa, but then the contrast of him saying, "Can you get my jet ready? I'm going to leave soon," is not what you expect the kid to say after he's writing a letter to Santa Claus. Not many kids say that, and they actually mean it. And then he finds out his dad's not going to be there for Christmas, which pisses him off, but he's very respectful to his grandma.
She says, "I'm sorry that your father won't be here. You know how busy he is with work, and obviously he earns a hell of a lot of money.
Yeah,
but he's a kid, and he,
And he goes out and he has a whole fleet of staff there, sort of standing there, and they all really respect him, like super respect him. And it's like his dad must be like crazy powerful financially and stuff, like proper crazy power. Where these staff are like, "There's the kid, big yes, sir, yeah," to the kid, and that's how he knows. He knows whatever he wants, he gets. Which is going to come into play.
Now we get our first introduction now to Skinny Man, played by Walton Goggins, who is,
I love him,
brilliant in this. I love him. He's a great character actor.
I've always liked him since House of 1,000 Corpses.
I think he's great in lots of stuff he shows up in. So a man goes to visit him, and this man has got a baseball bat, and he says he's very meticulous, Skinny Man, because he's a hitman who does everything exactly. It's all about the detail. That's how he kills people. It's all about the details. So he puts on his little gloves, and he gets given a baseball bat, and he says, "Put it on the table," and he looks at it, and on the end of the baseball bat there's a little plaque that says, "Made in Santa's workshop." And he's looking at it and he says, "Did you got this for Christmas, did you?" He says, yeah, I got it when I was like 10 years old. I was really into baseball. And Walton Goggins kind of mumbles to himself, "I never got what I asked for Christmas." Then he says, "Well, I'll give you $900 for this baseball bat."
You expect a No Country for Old Men situation to go on here, that he's going to fucking just grab the baseball bat and beat him to death or something. It's like the tension's like that. But it's not at all. There's a reason behind this.
And he puts it with his collection, and it seems that he's buying anytime someone's got something that says "Made in Santa's workshop." Because in this world,
the kid's airplane he gets in the car, the little kid.
He buys it. Because in this world, as you said at the beginning, Santa is real, and he's got a bit of a grudge against Santa, so he's collecting things that were made.
Toys which say "Made in China" underneath them, it's got "Made in Santa's workshop."
Yeah, so he's collecting them, and he puts this baseball bat in his collection. Then we see Billy.
But we don't know why yet. Why he has this fascination with Santa's workshop. There's something going on there.
Do with the car, etc.
Which when this jobber comes to him, he's quite up for the job. He seems to be the correct candidate.
So Billy, this naughty boy, he is at school, and his grandma gives him a kiss and says, "Good luck with your science project. You win it every year. I know you're going to win it this year. Sorry I can't go with you, but I'm incredibly ill." She's got tubes up her nose. She's in a wheelchair. "Your father is abroad. Go win it. I know you can do it, Billy." So he's presenting this science project, and he overhears them all say, "Wow, well done to Sandy," or whatever her name is, the little girl. "You're the winner of the science project." And he's like, What? I never lose. This can't be. And he's really, really pissed off. He gets given a runner-up badge instead of a winning badge. He's pushed in front of
the camera as well, so he's pushed into a situation, and he thinks he should have won because that's the way he knows.
So he makes a phone call to the Skinny Man, who is in the process of killing just a random couple who have nothing to do with this in their bed.
I don't feel like, even though your dad might be this powerful, that your son should be able to have a hitman at his disposal, because the rational thought of thinking of a child is not good enough to just kill someone because they didn't give you runner-up prize or something, or whatever he's going to do. Do you know what I mean?
But I don't think his dad knows about it, because
I'm sure someone would have said
his he fakes his grandma's signature, doesn't he?
Oh, of course he does.
So he's doing this really to be,
but he does have
secretly.
the person in the car who says we need to speak to our friend again. So that person in the car does know about it. So he must be paying him off as well from Granny's checks.
So I love this casual moment. He calls up Skinny Man. He's like, hang on a minute, I'm just working. Kills these couple in their bed, and he steps outside and
he approaches this couple in the bed. He's sneaking through a house with a fucking silence on the gun, all in black. Creeps to the house, finds the people, cocks the gun, and his phone rings. He's like, answers the phone and says, I'm just working, just shoot, just literally just kills two people, and then just walks off and sits down. Yeah, so what is the gig? Oh, okay, yeah. It's crazy.
And we find out what that gig is in a moment. It's not the main gig, but
that does show his character very well, that he's so like, I don't give a shit, I can kill anybody without a thought. I'm on the phone, hang on, boom, boom, I'm just killing people and carry on like it's nothing at all. That's a sociopath. And he's got this thing up against Santa, obviously, because we're going to find out what's going on with the toys from the workshop being collected.
So Kris Kringle is driving into town. His wife's made him a batch of those cookies, look good, and he's munching on those as he drives.
He's off to the post office for a check, because he's expecting a check from the government. He said to his wife, it's okay, I know we're skint, so I'm going to go get our check. It'll be all right. He knows, though, he's been a bit worried about it. He knows that the check's not going to be enough. He knows this.
Everybody knows he's Santa because he's got a P.O. box in the town. That's where all the letters go from all the children around the world. Excuse me. And on the radio, while he's driving there, he hears all these news stories about two children threw a brick off a bridge and caused a traffic collision. Another child set their grandparents' house on fire while they were in it and killed them, and he's like, man, the kids are letting me down left, right and centre. This world is going to shit. That's what he's thinking. We see it. So he goes to the post office in the P.O. box, and he says, there's 5 crates of letters. Should we load them on your truck for you, Chris? And he's like, yeah, thanks so much, Bob. And he gets his check, like you said. He takes the check to this bar that he goes to regularly.
And this is actually when we see a first instinct of him being Father Christmas and not just a regular Joe, because we still at this point have not had any actual clarification or any talk of that. It's very subtle. This is where he just sees the character, goes up to him, the guy's like, can I help you? And he goes, hiya, Mike, how you doing? And he just starts talking to him. He knows him as a kid. He knows everybody because he's Father Christmas.
So Mike is this guy in a bar, and he's flirting with the barmaid. And the barmaid says to him, I'll tell you what, I'll go out the back in a minute, and maybe me and you can hook up.
And then she leaves her, and that's when Mel starts chatting to him.
And he sits next to him. He says, Mike, listen, you've got a wife at home and a child at home. If you leave now, you could be with them. You could drive. You'll be there tomorrow.
Drive
probably.
all night, and you could be there in the morning. Yeah.
He says, who are you? And he says, I'm just a guy who's going to pay for your beer and let you go now. Go on, I'm buying you your beer, so you don't even need to pay. Off you go. And Mike thinks it through, and he thinks, all right. So he leaves, and she comes out, and she's like, why is it every time I chat to a guy in this bar and you're here, they disappear? Yeah. He's like, I don't know. And then she says, open the letter. You always sit here looking at that. You never open it. Just open it. And he opens the check, and we don't see how much it is, but it's not as much as they were getting last year or probably the year before. It's been going down every single year.
Yeah. And that seems to be his problem, and that's why he gets the government involved. He takes on a project which we get to. But yeah, it's funny. So that means that barmaid's there just like shagging married men on the regular.
Yep. Cut back to the skinny man then, Walton Goggins. So
in a basement, and the kid just comes out of nowhere, real nonchalant, gives him the name on a bit of paper of who he wants him to kill.
Yeah, and we're thinking, he must be after Santa, or he must be after somebody. We don't know who this is. But it's the girl who won the science project that he's going to be tracking down.
This girl, when we get to her, though, at no point does she do any acting. I don't understand what's going on here. She is completely plain faced for every performance of her. There's literally no acting at all. I don't. It's a very weird choice if the director said, "Can you not act?" It's really weird. I wonder if she was someone, an executive producer's granddaughter or daughter or something. They said, "Right, my daughter's got to be in it, otherwise you're not having some money," because it's really weird. Watch it next time you watch it. Just see her non-acting. It's really weird.
That's a bit of a shame.
It is. It's really weird because that actual role could have gone to someone who could really act, like be really terrified being in the car. It would have worked really well. Even if it didn't want to play it like really terrified and play it subtle, it could have been done so much better. Like them maybe looking at the window going, "Oh fuck, what the shit?" Do you know what I mean? It's literally like, it's real bad. Anyway, it's my only negative point of this movie.
Well, the next scene is a great scene because it all starts with Billy in his bedroom. Then he goes down out to see his grandma, and she says, "Can you get me a glass of water or something?" And he's like, yes, okay, Grandma, I love you very much. Then he walks up and he says, "Right, everybody leave," to all the staff. "Oh, off you go, everybody leave now. My grandmother wants you all out of the house." So they all what the hell? Have you heard all that? Crazy driving down my road then, beeping. They all leave. You've got it as well.
I've got a vehicle here. Maybe it's the same vehicle.
Super fast.
Mine's like a motorbike.
He then, in the same continuous shot, it's not a one-er, but in the same continuous moment, Billy then heads down with a plate of sandwiches, and there's a check inside the sandwiches or under the sandwiches, and he walks into the basement. Walton Goggins steps out of the shadows and takes the check out from under the sandwiches, and then we see he's got the little girl, Christine, her name is, tied up to a chair in the basement, and you're like, whoa, hang on a minute. This is a child.
How did he know that bit of paper is on that plate of sandwiches? Like, is this how they normally do it?
Yeah.
It seems. I guess it must be like when I bring the sandwiches down. At some point, they must have had this conversation. When the sandwiches come down, the name will be on the plate of sandwiches. But what if you're not hungry?
It's a check.
It's a check for the. Well, whatever. On the plate of sandwiches is a really odd thing to do. I just feel like at some point they must have had that conversation, but sometimes he can't be that hungry and he'd just be coming down anyway. I don't know.
Maybe Walton Goggins' payment is like the check for like $5,000 plus a cheese sandwich, please.
Maybe he gets a cheese sandwich as well and he just forgot to pick it up at that moment when he picked the check up.
But like I say, the reveal here is that the girl, Christine, who won the science project, is tied to a chair with electrical wires stuck to her.
Doing some non-acting,
and Billy approaches her and starts sparking the wires, and he says, "Now, this won't be enough to kill you, but it will certainly be enough to really, really, really hurt." And he sparks it a couple of times. He never actually electrifies or electrocutes her, but he does say to her, "You will return the first place medal and told them you cheated, or next time you're here, you will be in a lot of pain." So this is a kid who is willing to get, I don't know what she is, 14, 15-year-old girl at the oldest, tied up in his basement, and he will electrocute her if she doesn't return this first place medal. So that's the kind of kid we're dealing with. That is Billy.
Yeah.
Chris Kringle gets home, and the government are there. And he says, "Oh, why the hell are you guys here?" And they're like, "Oh, we just want to talk to you." One of them is like a colonel from the army, and there's a couple of like suits, like Men in Black kind of guys. And he's like, "I'm not happy about this check. It's half of what we got last year. I've got a contract with you guys." And they're like, "Yes, we know you've got a contract, and that's what we're here to talk to you about." And his wife's like, "Chris, just listen to them. They want to talk to you." And he's like, "I'm not interested in this. They're underpaying us every year."
But as they say to him, we paid you half because you only half delivered. So they were actually paying him for what he actually gave them. He's not getting full pay. He's getting paid for what he delivers. And he's pissed off for it, but...
And this is where he says to them, "The problem is this world is going to shit. This country's going to shit. All the kids out there I just heard some news reports about kids who set their own grandparents on fire. No wonder the Christmas spirit is going. What am I supposed to do with the youth of today?"
It's funny that someone came up with the idea for this film and just did a rationally thought about Santa Claus and the fact that he has a business to take care of.
Yeah.
It's fair enough.
I know, it's weird. Christine is dropped home by this skinny man.
Sorry about that.
And he says to her, "I'm going to let you back into your house now. You're going to tell your parents you were late night shopping at the shopping centre. And and if you talk about this, I will kill your mum, your dad, and anyone you ever love.
Yeah.
Okay. And she's like, okay. Does she not act in this scene as well? Because I didn't notice. Does she not act in this moment as well?
There's not one point that she does any acting in the film.
Okay. I really need to watch this again to see that. So he's dropped her off. That's that little bit all tied up. So Ruth and Chris are... they worry about their factory. We haven't seen the factory yet, but obviously Santa has a workshop. And they're saying, well, look, with this amount of money, we might have to close the workshop. And then that's the end of Christmas. What are we going to do? So he starts making some phone calls. And this is the first sign that Santa's got like a type of a superhuman strength.
I'm looking at the picture right now of him looking on the phone talking with a little stretchy thing in his hand.
He's got one of those metal hand workout things.
A grip for your grip.
Yeah. And he breaks it.
Snaps it. And it actually shows what tension he's at, actually. He does that because he's feeling the tension from the lack of pay, so he's trying to get some contracts going and stuff.
And it's obviously not a new thing because he's got a drawer full of them. He puts it in a drawer, pulls out a new one, and starts using it. So you can snap one of those, but
we
Santa
do find
can.
out that he is actually super strong later. And it's very subtle, this movie. At no point do we play on him being really strong at any point, and he only has a battle right at the end as well. But yeah, he just picks up a car. No, he doesn't. He picks up a load of stuff which are falling down, a load of crates where these two soldiers can't pick it up. He just comes along and just goes, "Oh, hang on, guys, there you go," and just walks past.
And again, it's all very subtly woven in, really, because Ruth pops her head in the door and she's like, "Chris, it's Christmas Eve. You need to get some rest before you go out on your journey tonight and make your deliveries."
So funny, like, you know, I'd hate that. Like, I hate sometimes waiting to work late of an evening. Yeah, it sometimes happens. And the rest of the day's ruined. You can't do nothing a day because you got on the back of your mind, you're like, oh, I've got to go work later. Sometimes some DJ gigs I've done before, you're like, oh God, I've got a bloody wedding anniversary to do later on. Oh God, you know, that sort of thing. You can't have a good day. So this must be the anxiety knowing it's Christmas Eve and you can't get the shits, you can't do anything, you've got to be on point because you're going out and you've got to deliver all these presents on Christmas Eve. The anxiety would be over the moon, wouldn't it?
Kids around the world
can't get ill, you can't do nothing, you can't
for this one night,
can't do anything, you can't have your car can't get a flat tire, which I had today, for fuck's sake. Can't do all these things, you know. You got to be on point. God, the anxiety would drive me crazy.
He gets a call on the radio to say, the sleigh is packed and ready to go. We never actually see the sleigh, and that's good. That's what keeps this film slightly grounded as a film about Santa Claus could be. He grabs his big book of names, the good list, and as he walks off, he looks at Ruth and he says, I feel like I've failed. I feel like Christmas is over. And he's so down. He's so rigs. Yeah. And he walks off. And he gets home. We don't see him delivering the presents. We don't need to. He gets home in the morning. He's really tired. He's got injuries where some naughty kids were shooting a deer rifle and they shot him in the side. Yeah. He crawls into bed with Ruth. He's absolutely shattered. And his wife's there for him, and they cuddle up together and they say, Merry Christmas, Merry Christmas, you know, and he's back from his rounds. We don't need to see it. And he does a bit of a Rambo, doesn't he? He even like stitches up his own wounds and tends to them. Yeah. Billy wakes up, doesn't he, Christmas morning?
He happily unwraps his Christmas present. The thing is, though, it's a horrible thing. Like, Santa Claus should have actually been a bit more thoughtful. It's like his dad. He must know the situation that this kid, even though he's got his money, he wants love. He could have given him a book or something which has some good story in it, even though, you know, like a book of someone who doesn't have the love of their parents but goes on to be really good or something, or something. You don't have to like really poke at the fire and put in a lump of coal in the fire, which is going to make the fire go even hotter, do you?
But that's what Santa gives you if you're naughty, and he tried to torture his classmate.
Like what I did there, the lump of coal making the fire burn hot like inside that kid. Yeah, it's good.
I did like that.
It's like I'm clever or something.
He's fuming about this lump of coal, and to add injury, pour lemon juice onto an already existing wound. Later on, he opens the present from his dad, which is just a teddy bear, and he's like too old for a teddy bear.
It doesn't even have a card or nothing, and not even a note on it. Nothing. It's literally like it's a teddy bear in a box.
the teddy bear pushes him over the edge, really. But the skinny man is Christmas Day, and the skinny man is on a shooting range.
I keep thinking you're thinking of saying about the British rapper.
Not the British rapper from London, Skinny Man.
Yeah.
No. Good rapper, though. I like that guy.
Yeah.
Council State of Mind, is that the name of the album?
Not sure.
Yeah, good guy. So Skinny Man is on a shooting range, and it's Christmas Day, and the guy's like, are you going to be wrapping up sooner? And he's like, oh, sorry, it's the money I'm paying you inconveniencing you? And he's like, well, no, you're paying me a lot of money to be here on Christmas Day. He's like, well, then set it up again so I can go again. So even on Christmas Day, he's practicing his shooting. Yeah. He doesn't give a shit. No. He's got to be an expert. He's got to be ready at all times.
I like the fact that guy's like, well, I wanted to get back to see the grandchildren open up their presents. He says, I'm paying you good money, aren't I? Rack them up again. And he's basically doing what you've seen of Keanu Reeves on YouTube getting ready for John Wick when there's a training video and everyone's like, oh my God. He's doing that, but not very fast. Wollongong is actually quite slow doing this. When like Keanu Reeves was...
Probably more realistic, probably.
Possibly, but then we did see Keanu Reeves do it. But then again, that's Keanu Reeves, I suppose.
He's superhuman.
He could do shit, can't he?
Yeah. Billy calls Skinny Man as he's leaving the shooting range and says... I've got a job for you, another job. And he's got him in his phone, by the way, everybody. When Billy calls Skinny Man, it comes up on his phone as the little shit. And he says, what's the job? And he says, I need you to kill Santa Claus.
Did he say Santa Claus, or does he say to kill the Fat Man?
The Fat Man, he might be, yeah.
Yeah, because we don't actually at any point... he's classed as Santa Claus, I don't think, really.
No, they just call him Kris Kringle or the Fat Man.
Yeah. It's very cleverly done, really.
So that's as much as we see of that for now.
It's like making a zombie movie, at no point class them zombies.
Yeah,
which
the
does
undead
happen,
or the
infected.
Yeah. So Chris agrees to hear out the military.
Yeah, and I was going to say, Wollongong takes on the job, and he's interested, very interested.
Yeah, he says, because basically he's got his own stakes in this as well, which we'll find out.
Mel's taken on the contract. His wife's happy about that. Said, it makes sense.
And he says to her, the problem is, Ruth...
He's so anxious about the elves, though, and what they're going to think about it, isn't he?
And he also says to her, look at this injury. These kids shot me last night with a deer pellet gun. Yeah. And I just don't believe in... He actually says, I don't believe in the spirit of Christmas anymore. I don't think it's out there anymore. Yeah. I can't see us doing this for much longer, so I've got to take this contract just to keep the elves paid and fed and keep our bills paid just for a few months. Yeah. And she's like, I'm super supportive of you. I'm married to fucking Father Christmas, so I'll do whatever you want. It's fine. So they go for it. Back to Skinny Man. He starts making some calls. He's now trying to track down this Kris Kringle. He's phoning around.
This is a bit of a montage of this, and there's one bit with a montage. It just cuts to him in a martial arts place, and he breaks a person's arm doing jiu-jitsu. He's laying on the mat with them, and snaps the arm, and you hear it crack. And the guy goes, "That's a break!" And Wollongong, he jumps back up and goes, "Yeah, I broke that arm! I broke the arm!" And he's like really excited, because this is quite a dark comedy, this film, and it's really quite funny. But he's just so excited and jumps back. Then it cuts back to him looking for information again. It keeps cutting to him doing like martial arts and stuff,
and gun training and stuff. And so he's tracking down this Christopher Kringle. He's making phone calls. He's online.
What he says is, "I broke it. He's like really like happy with himself, and it just cuts. This is like, that's just a little moment of this dude's life. Just 1 second. That's too much,
Christmas Day, he's like on a shooting range. Probably Boxing Day, he's breaking some guy's arm in the gym.
Just full on. Yeah.
Billy gets a parcel. Like I said, this is the teddy bear from his dad, so he's definitely like, I want Santa dead now, this is pushing me over the edge. Skinny Man asks the postman, just a random guy in the street who's delivering that mail. He says, hey, what happens to all the letters that the kids write to Santa? And he's like, oh, well, that's an interesting story. Basically, they all go to a P.O. box. And he's like, oh yeah, can you tell me more? And then as he's talking to him, he just pulls out his gun and shoots him.
Yeah.
Puts on his postman's costume.
Yeah. I like his thinking. It's quite good.
This poor postman was just doing his job.
I know he was. I feel sorry for him, but I like his idea.
And he drives the van into the post office plant where all the letters, like the big main post office, and he says, he grabs a guy in the office and he says, "I'm looking for the FATMAN." And he puts the gun to his head, and the guy's like, "I can't tell you that. I can't tell you that." And he's like, "Okay, well, I guess I could just end you here." And he's like, okay, it's just a P.O. box. That's all we've got. It's just a P.O. box. He says, "Write it down." And while he's lying face down on the desk with a gun to his head, and he says, "Make it legible so I can read it." But imagine the pressure of having to write down a P.O. box address while your face is mushed into the desk.
As he keeps sort of writing, he says, "Make it clear. Make it legible so I can read it." And it's just, it's very, it's the dark comedy in this. It's just kind of done just like that. It could have been done a little bit better at times, dark comedy, if you had someone a bit more, I don't know what background these directors had, but you could probably made this a little bit more sharper on the comedy. It feels like a more of a curve on the comedy, if that makes sense. Do you know what I mean?
But that's why it feels like a Coen Brothers film, because their comedy is often quite strange and dark like that.
Yeah, and it's not always on the nose. It's quite subtle. Yeah.
Well, this poor guy, after writing down the P.O. box, we just see the outside of the office, and we just see the flash of a gun muzzle, and you just hear like the muffled of a silencer. So there's another guy that he's killed. That's a couple of postmen he's killed now.
Mel's fixing a sleigh after last night's run.
Yep. And the army are going to be basically using the whole crux of this is they're going to be using the elves to help build military jets and missiles. And Mel gives a
He doesn't want to do this. Very quickly, we did see then a little quick montage after the sleigh building of Walter getting ready with weapons, and then it comes back. Mel doesn't really want to do it. He's just like, they've always just made like toys for kids. Now we're going to make weapons to kill people, which is quite a commentary on life in a way, though, isn't it?
He delivers a speech to the elves and says, like, basically, whatever these government men want, you please do it. I'm really sorry. I hope you're all okay with this. But they're the elves, and they're like, "Yeah, we'll do anything for you, Santa. It's absolutely fine." And he's really teary, and he's like, "I can't believe it's come to this."
Yeah, but you can understand. You're going to make toys to make children happy, to weapons which are to kill people. That's quite a change.
And that's why this film reminds me a little bit of Santa Claus the movie. Because you've got that dark. John Lithgow plays a really dark guy in that, a powerful businessman who wants to use Dudley Moore's elf character,
for money to make money.
Yeah.
Without giving a shit about it,
because that film is quite dark. I do like Santa Claus the movie, but it's quite a dark film.
I need to watch it. Maybe I'll watch it this Christmas.
It's a good one.
When Mel's up on that thing talking, and he's got Seven next to him, which is his lead elf, and he's got the military guy. He's acting his little heart out. Mel Gibson.
Yes, he's good. He's good.
Really giving a real, and it's so funny that Mel's giving his performance. Basically, it's Santa Claus talking to some elves about a contract changing from toys, which is such a random thing, a weird thing. He's acting loads with it. He's really acting. It's really quite impressive.
Because he does a lot of action films, people forget.
He can act.
And I had this conversation with RJ yesterday when we were watching Die Hard. I said it's the same with Bruce Willis. He acts his absolute balls off in Die Hard. And Stallone. In the Rambo and the first Rambo movie, and in some of the Rocky movies, and that's the difference between
you're looking at
these guys.
Both of those two examples of when they're hungry in their career. Mel isn't hungry in his career. He's done so much stuff. It's fast. It's good though, and fascinating that he's still pushing a massive performance in, pretending to be Santa Claus.
Yeah, no, he must have really believed in this script and this story,
and that's why I feel really it's quite underrated. So I'm happy. Hopefully, some of you guys will actually go, "Oh, I might check that out," after listening to this if you haven't seen it.
Yeah, we do see a brief shot now of Skinny Man arriving in town. We'll come back to him in a moment.
Do very quickly think it's quite a strange film though. Who's this movie for?
It's for us.
I think it has to be.
It's for us. It's
kids
the same.
Kids that have grown up with 80s action films.
It's a similar audience to The Violent Night. Yeah. This is like a more subtle version of Violent Night in some ways.
It is comedy, but it's very, very subtle comedy. And you wouldn't, as a youth, you wouldn't understand the comedy. It'd go past you, over your head. Probably.
I just can't help but keep going back to it says Coen Brothers type scenario. It's that kind of left field.
It even visually looks like it.
Yeah, because of all the snow. It's got
very
Fargo written all
nicely
over
shot.
it.
Yeah, absolutely. And when Walter Goggins, though, later on, he's got a white snowsuit looking like a baddie out of one of the beginning of one of the Daniel Craig movies. Yeah. It's so like fucking hell, it looks well good.
Well, I was thinking of Roger Moore. I was thinking of the beginning of that one where he snowboards down the mountain.
Oh, that's so funny.
That's brilliant.
And he did get some Bond in this year as well as Christmas.
Good vibrations. They play that Beach Boys song while he's surfing.
It's ridiculous.
So this is the moment you mentioned now. So the army are loading up some of the trucks with some of the weapons, and they drop a big crate and they can't get it on. And so, Mel Gibson comes on over, picks it up, no effort at all, something that like 4 or 5 men couldn't lift, and he just loads it back onto the truck. Yeah. He's like, careful with these guys, we've only just built these. He checks how all the elves are doing. Yeah, it's all going well, sir. We're on track. We're going to have everything built by the time we said we would. The contract's all going to be, it's going to be great. Don't worry about it. And the military approach him and say, look, you're doing an amazing job here, Chris. Even better than we could have thought. We want to offer you.
That guy who's talking to me, he's like quite a nice guy, isn't he? I was actually gutted when he died.
Yeah, he was a nice guy. He says to him, look, I know it's not what you want to do, but at the end of the day, you're a businessman. Everyone's getting paid. When you get your check, you're going to see how much money you're going to get. Come and speak to me when you get that check, because we want to give you a 15-year contract. I know you're saying no right now, but collect your check and have a look at it and think about getting that every month for 15 years. And Mel Gibson's like, doesn't, sort of grumbly, and that's it.
We also have this shot of, I think, Walter Goggins, when he was a child, asked Santa for a hamster. And he didn't get it.
Yes, he's got a hamster all the way through it,
because he goes to a pet shop, and the next thing we see, I was just like, this is fucking amazing. Sarah, take note, because Sarah recently found a hamster when she was working outside a block of flats. Like literally in the corner.
Loose?
Yeah,
loose.
Like someone probably took it out to just get rid of it because they didn't want it anymore. Or it escaped, but I doubt it. I imagine that's what happened. And so Sarah picked up, put it in her pocket, worked all day long like a Walt Disney movie.
In her pocket?
It's like a Walt Disney movie. And then she took it home, and now it's called Gary. I think it's a girl, but it's Gary. I've been stroking it. She is so sweet. And they've kept it now, and he's loving it.
She's fattening it up to feed to her spiders and snakes, isn't she?
No.
Sorry, Sarah, I'm joking. I know you wouldn't do that.
No.
Although they do eat, as you know, Gav, spends a lot of time around them. They will eat that. So she's got to be careful with Gary, because he'll be nice dinner for one of her snakes.
But Sarah, take note. Walter Goggins at this point, you see him driving along, another shot of him driving. He's got the hamster wheel is facing the road. So the hamster's just running along on the wheel, looking at the road as he goes. And I was like, that's fucking genius. And that's a dark comedy. It just shows that, and it cuts. And I was like, that's so weird. Where does the hamster then go? You never see the hamster again.
That is a weird scene, because the lady's
it's so weird.
She's like, what do you need the hamster for? And he's like, oh, well, I just, I've always wanted a hamster. And then she says, you look like more of a reptile guy to me. Do you want to come and look at our snakes and reptiles?
No,
and he's
like, no. Santa asked him for a hamster, and so this time he's decided to get one. So on his drive, he's been thinking about how bad, this is how clever this is. On his drive, he's been getting more and more angry, thinking about the job he's going to go and kill Santa. And then he's like raging that he never got that hamster he was asked for. Must be. And so he goes and picks one up.
And actually jump to the end, when everything's done and dusted, one of the final scenes, I don't know if you noticed this, Ruth, Santa Claus' wife, she's in the kitchen, and the hamster is in their kitchen in the cage. So she's adopted the hamster. Yeah. Let's call him Gary. He's another Gary.
Let's call him Gary.
So Gary's in the final scene with Ruth.
Shout out to Gary the hamster.
Shout out to Gary the hamster. So that's her cat and her hamster that I've had shout outs recently.
I know, Sarah's really happy I gave her cats a shout out Vinny and Jemmy.
Now Skinny Man stops off for whatever, I don't know, and he sees a kid in in a car next to him, and he shows the kid. He says, "Did you get that for Christmas? This jet plane?" And he's like, "Yeah." He's like, "I guess you've been a good boy, right?" And he's like, "Yeah." And he shows him his arm. He's got cigarettes.
Again, a nice touch. He is like the kid who's asked Santa to be killed. It shows him he was abused as a child.
Yeah, he rolls up his sleeve and he says, all I can remember from my childhood is cigarette burns on my skin and the smell of burning flesh. And he shows him he's got all these burn marks up his arm.
We've fully done it again. Both movies have parallels. We've had this little kid and his mental abuse from his father not coming home or giving him any love, being evil and stuff like this. Walter Goggins had physical abuse as a child and asked Father Christmas and didn't get anything for Father Christmas, didn't get his hamster, probably got a lump of coal as well, whatever. No, he gets a little airplane. He's giving him a little airplane, isn't he? He throws it at him.
Well, he says...
later on. He says, this is what you gave me, do you remember this? And he throws it at him.
Yeah, but because so what he does now is he says to that kid, I'll give you $100 for that aeroplane. Because it's got Santa's workshop on it. And he's like, well, I just got it for Christmas. Because to a kid, like $100, that young, a kid doesn't know what that means. And then he goes, I'll give you $500 for it. And the next shot, he's driving along and he's got the little jet plane on his dashboard, Walton Goggins. Yeah. So he's bought... So the kid, the mum...
And that's the one he throws. That's the one he throws. So that must be what? The same present that he got, because that's the one he throws at Santa Claus.
No, it might be.
It's not going to be a different airplane.
I thought it was the car. I think it's the car he throws.
Oh, maybe it's the car. No, you're right.
Just very quick tangent. Imagine being the mum of that little boy, and she comes back out of the shop and she's like, "All right, Johnny, where's your airplane gone?" And he's just sat in the back with $500, and he's just like, "Some man gave me all this money for it." You'd be like, "What?" That's very strange.
Right, Dad's got to look after that money.
Let me put it in my wallet for safekeeping.
There you go. It was £5 he gave you, wasn't it? Yes, there you go.
I did that with the kids. They got a Christmas card from one of Alice's to their great uncle.
You stole money off your children.
I didn't steal it, but they had a tenner each, and they were like, "Oh yeah, we got money, Daddy. What's brown money mean?" I was like, "It's £10." They're like, "Is that a lot?" I was like, "It's quite a lot. Obviously, that's 20 quid because I got twins." So I said, "Look, let me keep it." I said, "Please let me look after it. I promise you'll be able to spend it." So it's in my wallet now, but I'm sure I'll let them spend it.
Yeah.
Shout out to Uncle Mark if you're listening. Sorry about
that. Shout outs. We've got the elf.
Very quickly, Gav. Sorry about the car, the police car. So all he ever got was this little police car toy, and that was it. Have you noticed that the car he's driving all the way through this, Walton Goggins, is that car? It's not a police car, but it's the same make and model, just painted all black.
It's such a clever film, this is.
Because he bought the car for real, because he never got the real thing he wanted.
And turned into a serial killer. Yeah, a hitman. Elf cafeteria. I'm trying
cafeteria.
Cafeteria. I'm trying to say cafetiere. I'm trying to say cafetiere. Basically, a restaurant where all the elves are in there, and it's dinner. It's lunchtime, and every item is just a sugar thing. And then you get the guy sits down there, the army guy, the lead guy says, I would like to say that your complexions from your lack of nutrients, protein, different things. You should get fruit and vegetables. And he says, no, what are you talking about? Having just sugar keeps us making more things. I bet guaranteed anything else live longer than humans. And he's like, really? And he says, yeah, totally. We just do this. We sleep, what is it, like 3 hours?
He says we work 24-hour shifts, and we take we have a 4-hour nap every 24 hours, and we do it in rotation. So we're always working apart from 4 hours when we nap. And as he's saying this, he's eating like sugary pies. He's dipping his candy cane in like a bit of milkshake and necking it.
I put it down as 20-minute nap every 8 hours.
Oh, maybe it was that then.
And he's like, what? And you could do that? He says, yeah, we can carry on working like completely all the time. He's like, that's crazy. He says, yeah, we outlive you guys, sort of thing.
Because he says about their complexion, he also says about their height. And he's like, if you had some fruit and vegetables and nutrients, you'd probably be taller and stronger. And he's like, we don't need to be. This is what we do. We're built to do this. This is our job. Yeah. So again, it's a tiny little bit of science behind it, just to kind of grind it a little bit.
All this out when writing it, like really gone into the elf situation, them and the work, but then this work guy, and the guy's like, oh, I like the way this works. I expect his next thing to be taking all the fruit and vegetables away from his all of his soldiers.
Now, while all that's going on, Chris is working at his anger. He's in the stable, and he's pounding the shit out of a punch bag. And he looks at some thank you letters that his wife has conveniently placed for him, just to remind him that the Christmas spirit is there.
Photographs of the Polaroids of the kids as kids, and Polaroids of them now, and they're like really doing really well. Adults doing good, and it makes him go, okay, like it's not all of them. She says that later on. Thank you for putting them there. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
It's such a good movie.
It's really lovely chemistry between him and his wife, actually.
His wife acts really well in it as well. It's all almost like they're doing a really serious drama, but it's like a dark comedy.
I know. If you took away the Santa aspect, it's just like a couple of people trying to keep a farm going, isn't it, really,
Yeah.
It's strange. So, Skinny Man, he's tracked down Kris Kringle's P.O. box, obviously. He's got the address now. He gets there. We've already gone through that montage, which we've already talked about, of him going through all the different genres of music, and the camera's stationary within the car. It is a fantastic scene, and never seen anything like it. It's a really good, clever way to do it.
I've seen that sort of thing before, but definitely not doing it with different genres of music. That's great.
He goes into the P.O. box and he says, "Hey, can I help you, son?" And Skinny Man says, "Yeah, I'm looking for a buddy of mine, Chris. I used to work with him, and I just lost track of where he lives." And he's like, "Oh, everybody knows Chris." And he's like, "Can I get his address?" He says, "I can't give you that. It's, we've got to protect people's identities." And he says, "Okay." And then the lady from the bar comes in.
Which stops him, because at that point he was probably going to pull a gun on this guy.
And he says, "Oh, this guy's looking for Chris." And she goes, "Oh, Chris, yeah." He says, "Hey, does Chris still drive that black Chevy?" And she says, "You mean a red Ford?" And he says, yeah, that's what I meant, a red Ford. So he tricked her into giving away.
It's only a different colour and make of car.
I know, but she gives it away. And he's like, "Great, now I'm looking for a red Ford." So Skinny Man goes to a gun shop. And he's looking at it's quite a funny scene.
It's
again.
like
very
Schwarzenegger and Terminator.
Yeah, or it's a very Coen Brothers scene, because he's going, green makes me look fat, brown is too, that one is no good, this, and then in the end the guy goes, "Is there something specific you're looking for, son?" And he says, "Something snazzy." And he says, "How about that?" And he sees this cool ass white James Bond style snowsuit all in one. So he buys that, he buys some skis, a load of guns. The guy doesn't question it. He just sells, he's like, "Great, I've just made $5,000 off this guy." So he buys all of that and he loads up the car.
But he gets a phone call from the kid who says, "I've decided I want his head."
He's painting a lovely picture on canvas.
He says, "I want his head."
And he's like, "Oh, listen, kid, this is a hard enough job as it is, okay? Do you know how smelly a human head can get? I'd have to transport it all the way back through. I'd have to buy an ice box. It's going to be a mess by the time I get there. And then I've got to hack his head off once I've killed him."
So the kid's like, "Oh, all right, then his beard." He says, "I'm not cutting a beard off a dead guy. How about his coat?" And he goes, "All right, then."
He's just a kid at the end of the day. It's like persuading your kid down from an ice lolly to, "I can just give you like a yogurt."
But that's what I think. That's what I'm saying. Like, this kid shouldn't be in charge of who gets bumped off, because the kid has no rational way of thinking. They're stupid. It's a kid.
Yeah. Well, Chris pulls up at his red Ford, not his black Chevy, and he goes into the P.O. box, and he's spotted by Skinny Man. He tries to take him out, but a big truck goes in front of it.
He doesn't. I gotta say that as much as professionally set up as Walter Goggins is, he's kind of not at times in this. He's kind of just taken off by chance a little bit. At this point, he's and he tries to get the gun out quickly. And it's a bit like, it's not very professionally done. You're just sitting there with a fucking gun sticking out your window. I thought he was going to see him there and go, "Great, I'm going to follow him," which he does have to do because his truck gets in the way of his shot. But it just seems a bit like that. Seems a bit sketchy. It doesn't seem planned out. He seems more methodical. Do you know what I'm saying? As a killer, and that seemed a bit too.
It's almost like. It's almost like
it might be he got excited that he saw him and he's like, "Fuck, there he is, I'm going to actually do it."
I feel like sometimes he's so OCD, his character, that he kind of ruins it for himself, because if it's not going exactly to his plan, and this was unexpected, he didn't expect to come across him so quickly.
Yeah, well, he has another unexpected. So obviously after this, he follows him back to the farm, and when he gets to the farm, he follows him and he realises there's a whole fucking army there, which he didn't expect.
Yeah, so he pulls into the side of the road, and he gets out on foot. And like you just said, he's thinking, "I'll go to this guy's farm and take him out." But he spots probably 50 army guys, military, and it's like an armed army base, because obviously they're there helping Santa and the elves. And he thinks, fuck, this isn't quite the job I thought it was going to be. There's a bunch of army, and they're trained, military guys. So I'm going to have to rethink my plan a little bit here. There's even guys so diehard in James Bond. They're even on snowmobiles. Whenever you see a guy on a snowmobile, he's just like Die Hard 2 or James Bond. Billy, meanwhile, receives a letter to say, "Congratulations, Billy. It turns out that Christine cheated on the science project. She's admitted to the whole thing, and here is your prize. You were the winner of the science project after all." And he's like, good.
And that's it. After all of that, and that's it. What he gets from it, just that. And it's like such
a badge,
pathetic thing to do, just to get that.
And we get now a cool scene of Skinny Man suiting up in his white suit, getting all his guns and skis, and he goes to work.
Basically uses his shooting range practice now.
Yep.
For real.
While he's heading into the woods, Chris and Ruth are having heart-to-heart. And he says, "Look, I'm really sorry that I almost gave up on Christmas. I love you so much, Ruth. You've always been there for me, and you made me see that there is still some good out there in the world, and I can make a difference." And they have a kiss, and it's all good. I think they get into bed a little bit. I think they have a little smooch, and they get into bed. While that's happening,
they do some sex, I think.
Some Santa sex. Oh, you've been a good girl for Christmas.
Let me deliver my package.
God, poor Santa. Now, while that's happening, we see a couple of dead army guys, because one of them there's that ski that's just hit the window, and they go investigate, and then we see that he's killed a couple of army guys. Then he shoots a few more. He takes out about 6 or 7 army guys.
We're going to full-on action movie mode now.
Yeah, and he enters the elf factory. And as he's wandering around, he's doing that classic thing of planting bombs.
Isn't that a sexual move?
What, entering the elf factory?
Yeah.
And then I entered her elf factory. Yeah, so he's planting loads of bombs all around this elf factory, and an elf comes out and picks up one of the bombs, and he says, "Put that down." He's like, "Who are you?" And he's like, "Put that down immediately." And the elf literally dismantles it in seconds, because these elves are experts at putting things together and taking them apart. So it becomes, my next note is, it becomes an elf massacre. And he starts taking people out. The army hear all this gunshot and shooting, and it turns into a very different film now, doesn't it? Mm-hmm. It's gunfire everywhere. The elves are getting killed. The army guys are like, "Stay low." I mean, they're already quite low as it is, these little elves. They're like, "Stay low down." It's shooting everybody. Santa he's in bed with Mrs. Ruth, having just delivered his package, and he gets a phone call to say, "Santa, Chris, listen." And he can hear loads of shooting, and he's like, "Oh my God, something's going on. I got to get my gun." She's like, "Be careful, Chris." He's like, "I will," because he's Mel Gibson. "I will, mate. Don't worry about it. G'day." He doesn't. He's got a good accent in this. He doesn't go Aussie in this. He grabs his guns. He gets there, and pretty much all of the army have been killed. And Walton Goggins leaves the factory and presses a little button. Boom! It explodes Santa's workshop. Done.
Yep.
Is that the end of Christmas? Yeah. Jesus. And he kills a couple more people, and then all you hear is Santa from far away say, "That's enough."
And we don't see him yet, and it's great, because this is Walt Goggins and Santa Claus. It's the first time they're actually seeing each other, and it's not that long until the end of the movie. You
pointed it out. It's very Western now at this point.
What I was about to say again. It's very like wide shots, and them two from either end, almost like it is. They do basically. They're ready to pull out a gun on each other.
And he says, "I know you, Jonathan Miles. I remember you asking for me to bring your parents back to life when you were a kid. I'm sorry I couldn't do that."
He says, "I remember you as a twisted child."
Yeah. He says, "I'm really sorry I couldn't bring you."
No, he says, "I cannot replace your parents because he was abused." So I think his real parents died somehow. Then he went into some foster home and he was abused.
And he shows him the toy car and says, "This is all I got."
He says to him, I don't have the power to replace parents. I can't do that. All I can do is give you a gift." He's kind of like, "You're just taking out on me because He doesn't know he's being paid to be a hitman. He thinks he's just come up to him from being grumpy as a kid and not getting what he wanted. So he's finally taking this vendetta out and wants to take revenge on Santa.
Mel Gibson's delivery is great because he does come across as a bit biblical, which Santa should, when he says, "That's enough," and when he says, "I remember you, a sick and twisted child." You know, there's some stuff he says, and his last speech right at the end as well, which we'll get to, is quite biblical as well.
I like where Goggins is like, "I've come for your head, fat man."
Yeah, and then it's just like bang, 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 shooting each other. There's a great moment where there's a big pile of logs.
I like after that when he says that, and Mel says to him, "You think I got this because I'm fat and jolly?" Meaning, this is not the reason I got this job. I've got this job because I've got some fucking skills. I'm Liam Neeson in Taken, bitches.
Yeah, and again, like Violent Night, I love that thing that Santa, it has been around for thousands of years, and he can take you out, like, you know, like a vampire or something who's learned skills over the years, you know.
Yeah, Mel gets shot in the arm.
He gets shot in the arm, and there's a great scene with loads of logs piled up where they're on either side of it.
Well, Goggins is hiding. Let's set the scene up. Mel and Goggins are quite a distance from each other. Gibson and Goggins. It's a new detective agency. And Goggins is hiding behind a load of this wood piled up. At one point, he's reloading. Mel does super speedy running, which you wouldn't expect because he's fat and jolly. It's really fast. He's really silently, because he's got skills, really silently runs up,
because
he doesn't know he's there.
Chimney.
So Goggins is putting back up and he's like, "Where is he?" in the distance, but he doesn't know he's just on the other side of the wood. But at no point, though, because we saw Mel's amazing strength, at no point do we see him like then pick up a massive log and throw it at him. I do wish we'd have seen something like that.
Yeah, but he does pick up a big lump of wood.
He does.
And proceed to batter Walton Goggins with it.
And almost gets away with it, but Walter, we saw earlier when he set up his weapon, set up a very long fucking about 8-inch blade coming out from a spring-loaded arm blade that comes out when he wants to. So he stabs fucking Santa Claus up. Fucking shank time.
Through the back, and it comes out of Santa's chest.
Shawshank Redemption.
And then Santa's lying there, and you think, "Come on, Santa, get up." That's what we're thinking as an audience. And he just walks up to Santa, and he just shoots him in the head. Bang.
And he's dead. And we're like, "Oh, Santa's dead." But we kind of, I was like, "Yeah, Santa's not going to be dead, is he?"
But as before Walton Goggins can sort of do any victory dance, bang, someone shoots him.
And it's wife.
Ruth.
Yeah.
From the distance, so he shoots back at her. I think she gets hit. She runs into the house.
She does, because she's bleeding. He follows her blood.
That's right. He shoots back. He runs in the house. He follows the blood trail. And there's a great scene now where he's in the kitchen and he's thinking, "Where the hell is she?" And she's hiding behind the kitchen door.
And she has enough time to say, "I'm sorry," and then shoots him in the head and kills him. And that's it.
Because she's Mrs. Claus.
And
she says, "I'm sorry."
She kills him. Yeah.
And then we cut to all the elves and Ruth gathering around Santa or Chris.
And she's just saying to him, "It's okay, come on, you're all right," because he's been killed before, obviously.
And he's fallen off a sleigh or whatever, you know. It's trampled by reindeer. And he's still alive.
Yeah, these shots, though, when he's like towards the end of it, when he goes to see the kid. It's great.
Because the kid's about to do another very twisted thing. He's currently emptying all of his grandmother's pills into a drink of lemonade or milk that she drinks, and he's going to basically kill his grandmother because she's found out. She said he hears her on the phone saying, "Well, I don't know where all my money's going. You need to find out where it's been going. I'm losing thousands of dollars every couple of months." It's because her grandson's forging all these checks and paying off this hitman. Yeah. So he's like, "Oh, I'm going to get found out. I better kill grandma with this concoction of pills and milk."
I'll just steal a load of her tablets and make loads in a drink for her.
And then there's a knock at the door, and Ruth walks in, and she says, "Someone wants to speak to you." And it's Santa, Kris Kringle, and he walks up to
the kid's shocked because, "Oh my God, he's in his office." Like, no one would do that because what he has is one of his fucking servants knock on the door and open it up, and he's like, "I told you not to disturb me." Then all of a sudden, this woman comes in. He says, "Who the hell are you?" Because he doesn't know Santa's wife. And then obviously Santa comes in, and he's like, "Oh shit!" And at this point, Mel Gibson, I'm looking at a picture of him now. He's got an eye patch, a white eye patch with blood all coming out of it on his left hand, so like one eye's only showing. He's got his big old beard, he's got a furry hat up and a massive like Father Christmas like outfit over the top of him. He looks scary as shit. I would be so... If I was a child and saw him, I'd shit myself forever.
And he's got a walking stick as well, because he's been stabbed and shot, and he hobbles into the room. He grabs the glass of milk and he says, yeah, that's an interesting concoction. That would kill her straight away, wouldn't it? And then he necks it.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't kill him. It's just probably going to make him feel a bit better because he's so injured.
Yeah.
He's going to recover fast. He necks the drink just to show his immortality. And he says, what are you doing here? And he says, what am I doing here? I'm being productive, Billy. And he says, I'm coming to you this time to speak to you rather than wait for you to make another bad move. And this is a chance for you to get off the naughty list or something onto those words. To which point Ruth walks over, takes his hood down, and she starts unbandaging his head. And he says to him, basically threatens him and says, if I hear so much as one thing you've done wrong, I'll be back here. I'll be back here to make sure you're... and he says, I can't remember what he says he'll do to him, but he says, he leans in, shows his eye socket hole where the bullet went in, and says, the fat man's got his eye on you. And it's just such a great moment.
Yeah, it's a good film.
And it ends with Ruth baking cookies.
They're back on the farm working.
The elves are repairing everything. The hamster's in his little wheel Gary. And then one of the elves just says, we'll be back up and running in no time, Chris. And he's like happy. And that's the end. It's just a nice little end.
Yeah.
It's such a niche, strange, but brilliant film.
Oh, it's
it
really
really
good,
is.
Yeah.
I wanted to see it anyway. But when you sort of told me about it, obviously I trust your judgment. We have very similar tastes, so I thought I'll check it out, and I wasn't disappointed, and probably was even better the second time around because I already knew where it's going to go,
and you knew it is Santa Claus stuff. For me, it was a lot better second time around actually. But I think if you've listened to this and you haven't seen it, I think we've gone through it. I think it's enough for you to watch it, and I think you'd enjoy it for sure. I don't think you wouldn't enjoy it. It's quite a fun film. It's a lot better than some of the average sort of Christmas movies for sure.
It does sort of talk about the Christmas spirit and
it's
how
Christmas
we should
action movie.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, it's a more grounded version of Violent Night, maybe.
Yeah, it's a slow build. It's like what you said, kind of Fargo-y in a way.
Yeah, if you like the Coen Brothers, it's definitely a thumbs up from both of us.
Thumbs up
for
for
that
me.
one. Yeah.
Right, let's get out into the outro, and we'll be back. In a minute.
Let's do it.
And we're back again.
Back again to say goodbye.
Well, I hope everybody enjoyed today's episode, Dan. I hope you enjoyed watching the movies and reviewing them. I thoroughly did, actually, both these films.
Yes, I always look forward to our Christmas episodes. I know Trading Places isn't a horror, but we do love to cover some of the classic Christmas movies for our Christmas special, particularly because it's always our anniversary as well, 12 years, as I said.
I know. And what have we got in the new year for 2026?
Okay, so that was episode 188. So episode 189, obviously a slight rescheduling because we did have some issues in personal lives. Nothing to worry about. We're all safe and happy. It's just busy. So it will be Holly's Patreon episode, the first episode of next year. Just to remind you, that's going to be a Betty Davies double bill. We're going to be covering Burnt Offerings from 1976 with Oliver Reed as well. I think Roddy McDowall might be in that as well. And Watcher in the Woods, the Disney horror that scared us all as kids.
Roddy McDowall's not in Burnt Offerings.
No, he's not. I'm thinking of the other one that he's in. What's the other haunted house movie?
Legend of Hell House.
Yeah, that's a good one.
But the movie I watched the other day, Dead of Winter, very much, I reckon check it out. That's got Roddy McDowall as a casting for a movie for someone that drops out this woman. He takes her to... It's the woman who's the wife in Elf.
Okay, yeah.
It takes her out to the middle of nowhere. It's worth watching. It's on Amazon Prime very much. It's a wintry movie, guys. And it takes her out there very quickly. And then there's a guy out there and says, yes, you'd be perfect. He's like German. You'd be perfect for the role. And stays in the house. And then she gets trapped in the house and she's not allowed to leave, sort of thing. It's good. Check it out.
What's it called?
Dead of Winter.
Dead of Winter. That sounds good.
It's with Roddy McDowall. He's great in it. Yeah.
So that's Holly's episode 189. It'll be Watcher in the Woods from 1980 and Burnt Offerings from 1976. So great couple of picks. Yep. Apologies again, Holly, for our delay in that one, but that will be our next episode.
I have already watched and got my notes ready, and Watcher in the Woods is great to watch again.
Yeah, it's great movie. And then that means episode 190 will be your special birthday episode, Gavin.
I know.
We'll be covering, just to remind you, Hellraiser from 1987, Clive Barker's Hellraiser, and Apostle by Gareth Evans from 2018. And we should, fingers crossed, we should have a special guest just for a little segment on that one that we can talk to about one of those movies as well. Fingers crossed that all works out. So that's your birthday episode. And then after that, we will be moving into my sort of genre of stuff. Episode 191 will be dark superhero horrors, of which there aren't many, but we'll be covering Chronicle from 2016, which is the found footage horror movie, and Brightburn.
Oh, nice.
So that's what we'll be covering.
Max Landis wrote Chronicle.
Did he? And
John
Josh
Lasseter.
Trank. We can discuss Josh Trank, who directed it and blew his load. He got to do Star Wars and then absolutely dropped the bomb. Disney fired him.
Yeah,
and
we can discuss this. I remember this sort of a little bit. Yeah,
he ruined his career. He was like Gareth Evans and these guys who jumped from one film to a giant film, and that was his chance. Really, he did the Fantastic Four movie, Josh Trank, and then absolutely he had the chance to make Star Wars, and it all fell apart.
Yeah,
they didn't want him. Because he trashed Fantastic Four. He was like, don't go see this movie, it's a piece of shit. And then he smashed his house up that they'd given him to live in for 6 months. And
almost seems like something Max Landis would do as well. And funny enough, we were watching one of his dad's movies today in Trading Places.
We did. So we are the podcast on Haunted Hill. Thank you everybody for listening to us for the last 12 years or just for the last episode, whatever it is.
Thank you much.
Yeah. Hopefully we'll be keeping on going for another 12 years or so.
And if you don't listen to us anymore, you won't know that I'm saying this. Because you don't listen to us anymore. Well, I wasn't going to do that. I was just going to say you won't know because you don't listen. Yeah.
So we are a proud member of Legion Podcast Network and have been for the whole 12 years we've been going. And we're also under the Deadbolt Media umbrella. If you want to find out more about Legion Podcasts and all the other shows on the network, you can go over to legionpodcast.com and search for all of our back catalogue, and all the other shows are on there with all their episodes as well. We have an email address if you want to contact us. Back catalogue. Get out of my back catalogue, you. We have Gary's in there. Oh,
in your back catalogue?
Yeah. Call me Richard Gere. We have an email address.
I love the fact that not long ago Gary was a cold hamster, cold, shaking and shivering away, waiting for a cat or a fox to pick it up and eat it, and just sitting there going, what's going on in this world? What is happening? Then whisked away in a pocket, and then now lives in a lovely little enclosure and gets shouts outs on podcasts all around the world.
Maybe
he's famous. Or
well, I was going to say maybe it's a cruel experiment by the Duke brothers. They said, "But let's take a hamster who's living on the streets."
Oh no!
And make him
hamster lives on the streets and put it into the place.
And somewhere there's another hamster out there who used to have a really life of luxury.
So basically, the hamsters are in a Trading Places situation.
Yeah, that's it. The Duke brothers.
Wow.
And Sarah's Coleman. She's the innocent butler. But we have an email address, the podcast on Haunted Hill at outlook.com. If you wish to email us, ask us questions, give us anything, whatever it is, basically send us an email. We are on Facebook as our Legion. If you go to Facebook and search for Legion Podcasts, easy to find. Same with us, the podcast on Haunted Hill. Like I say, we've been going 12 years, so we have a pretty decent, solid community of hundreds of people on there. Lots of people I consider pretty good friends, even though I haven't really met some of them in real life. I chat to them almost daily, a lot of these guys. It's a really great place, safe place. Come and join us on Facebook. It's a great place to chat, and I'm on it.
We've got safe words and everything.
We have got safe words. My safe word is Gary.
Mine's banana. Whoa.
The old banana in the tailpipe. It's just becoming quite a...
It's getting late.
It's getting late. Yes, come and join us on Facebook. It's a great place to hang out. And wherever you're listening to us now is where you can continue to listen to us. We're on most podcast platforms. If you Google the podcast on Haunted Hill, you'll find us. But we are on Spotify, YouTube, Podknife, Podbean, Apple Podcast Addicts, and all the other usual suspects. And we have an Instagram handle, which is the Podcast on Haunted Hill Insta, which we use to promote the show, sending out little montages with a link to each episode. So it's fun little, if you want to do that. We are part of Deadbolt. We're under the Deadbolt Media umbrella. Deadbolt Films is our production company. Go over to deadboltfilms.com. You can find out more about our short films, our feature films, comics, this podcast, the other podcast Gav's done, which is called
A High Strangeness Podcast.
With Sarah.
Me and Sarah, yeah.
And Gary.
And Gary. It's Gary Squeaks. And we talk about weird and strange and unusual things. We just recently done Lost in the Desert. And we got a Christmas episode coming up soon about being greedy, actually, and eating too much, and sexual fetishes with overeating. Yeah.
Feeders. Deadboltfilms.com is the website. There's a YouTube channel. If you go to Deadbolt Films on YouTube, you can catch loads of the stuff, including Sanctuary Moon, our Star Wars horror film, and a bunch of other stuff we've done. Yep. Amanda, which is a found footage movie.
Give us some subscribes and stuff. It just helps us look better.
Yeah. Subscribe, some comments, all that stuff. Share it around. Yeah. Share it around. And Deadbolt's also on Instagram. It's just Deadbolt Films, all one word. You can go on there to see what we're up to in the background, planning out the next projects. Finally, we are part of Patreon. So we do have patron supporters who support us financially. No one needs to do it, but if you do, we would surely appreciate it. It's Christmas after all. If you become a patron supporter, you will get a chance to program an episode. So every 3 episodes, unless life gets in the way, is a patron pick. A patron pick. So you will get to pick the 2 films that we review and tell us a very detailed or a very short email about why you've chosen those films, what you think of them when you first watched them, all that kind of stuff. You also get a free t-shirt sent to you when you first join. You get exclusive access to our entire back catalogue, which is on Patreon, as well as bonus episodes, video episodes, audio episodes that we put up as and when. I have a new mic now, so I'll be able to do a lot more little one-off episodes of just me, if you fancy just a bit of Dan, or if you fancy a little bit of Gav. Sometimes you'll see Gav as well, having a cup of tea, looking through a big crate of VHSs. So there's lots of stuff to do on there. But yeah, if you want to join Patreon, we'd really appreciate that. Just jump on over to Patreon and type in the Podcast on Haunted Hill. Otherwise, if you're struggling, go on to Facebook Messenger, grab me, ask me, and I'll direct you over there. Or you can email us again, the Podcast on Haunted Hill at outlook.com. You will also get a shout out at the end of each episode, which I'm going to do now. So thank you to all of our beautiful patrons for your support. Merry Christmas to you all.
Yes, and Merry Christmas. Have a good New Year as well.
I'll say that to each of them. I will say Merry Christmas to Sheila.
Merry Christmas, Sheila.
I'll say Merry Christmas, Dante.
Merry Christmas, Dante.
Merry Christmas to Don Collier.
Merry Christmas, Don.
Merry Christmas to Matthew Godley.
Merry Christmas, Matthew.
Merry Christmas to Kevin S. Fife.
Merry Christmas, Kevin.
You can sing these if you want. Merry Christmas to Sarah Kay.
Merry Christmas to Sarah Kay.
We wish you a Merry Christmas to Rachel.
Rachel, Merry Christmas.
And a Happy New Year to RJ McCready.
McCready, New Year, Happy RJ.
And may your days be merry and bright to Lex Boo.
Lex Boo, merry and bright.
Thank you all so much for your support, patrons.
I'm definitely not a young choir boy's voice, that's for sure.
You're not, thank God.
No.
We're walking in the air.
We're walking in the air.
But thank you so much to all of our patrons for your support. It does really help the episodes and the show keep moving forward and growing.
And thank you.
Thank you to everybody who just listens to us, supports us, shares us, etc., etc. It's been 12 years. I hope it can continue for another 12. This is wonderful.
We won't stop because we just quite like doing it. Me and Dan get to chat to each other for 4 hours or twice a month. We were just saying that earlier, so we quite enjoy doing it. So, you know.
Yeah, it's great.
I tell you what, though, I like reviewing films because I'd like to think it makes me a better filmmaker.
Yeah, and it just gives me a greater appreciation for films, you know, and it's also a passion of both of ours.
Oh, I love film. It's the only real passion I have. I like writing music and stuff, but my own real passion I love skateboarding, but skateboarding in movies, you know, definitely.
Yeah. Well, there we go, guys. So Merry Christmas to you all. Happy New Year, happy holidays, whatever it is you celebrate. And even if you don't celebrate anything, just be safe, be happy, eat some good food, see your loved ones, tell everyone you know that you love them, because, you know, it's that time of year where everyone wants to hug everybody. And I hope it snows. Hope it snows for you all, but not in a kind of an Ellis from Die Hard kind of way. No. I hope it snows for real. Indeed. We don't want any cocaine for Christmas.
And it's Merry Christmas from Gary.
Well, it's a Merry Christmas, Gary. I love that. Good old Gary. He's getting loads of that.
Isn't he?
It's a Merry Christmas from the grandma who's about to drink milk with loads of crushed up pills in them.
It's Merry Christmas from the Fat Man. I'm coming for your head, Fat Man.
And it's a Merry Christmas from Jamie Lee Curtis spooning me because I've got a very high fever in my bed. I need some soup, Jamie.
And it's a Merry Christmas from Jamie Lee Curtis's Commodities.
Brilliant.
Good night.
Good night, everybody. Take care.
Goodbye.
Thank you for listening to the podcast on Haunted Hill. We will be back again real soon.